As the leader of the Booner pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the fuck up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff, Booner, Lukas. I am fired up, boys. We got a victory Monday, a short week, Lions making moves. We got a lot to talk about. And we're getting some good guests on. Kory Woods joining the show. Dusty Evely joining the show. We got a Packers right.
Dusty!
This ain't Dusty's third appearance.
Yeah, he might be our most outside of Lions Nation or Michigan sports. Dusty's probably our biggest guest outside of the state of Michigan, National Football League wise.
He's opinion. His first appearance, he brought the juice. That's why I love it. So Dusty will be joining later. Kory will be joining today. We got new thumbnails, so shout out to Roman for all that. Hope you guys enjoy them. And welcome to everyone in the chat, including we got an Eagles fan in here.
Love
Charles.
it. Love it. It's tough
Charles
going 10-1 or 11-0 and falling off last year, isn't it, Charles?
Yeah, it's a little new for Charles. I mean, now they haven't collapsed yet. So I cannot wait. Those are the two teams in the NFC. We'll talk about that later. Jahmyr Gibbs showing protection calls. Michigan, Ohio State. Klotz, take sips of coffee. You're gonna have to get fired up now. Ryan Day.
I'm looking for something.
Lots to get to, fellas. Yeah. What a game on Saturday. Michigan.
Hold on. I'm looking for something, Jeff. Hold on. I just want to show you something.
Go ahead and look for it. It was incredible. I'm gonna be honest. Out of all the things I had on my to-do list for the day, betting over line, not one of them. It was
Michigan.
And now Klotzy. I mean, we had the conversation, Klotzy. We thought Michigan would cover. Ohio State would still win. It looks like that ass got won.
Oh man!
In Columbus,
I literally get nauseous. I'm nauseous. I was with my girlfriend on Saturday watching it. I'm watching on my phone, and she falls asleep, and I'm just the whole day, the last 2 days, I've just been I can't believe they lost. When we were walking through the store, I was I can't believe they lost. It doesn't feel real. I don't understand how it happened.
I know exactly how it happened. They scored more points. They dominated Ohio State. They said, hey, we're the big dogs. You're the little dogs. Sit down, Klotzy. We own you. We own 4 straight you. We own you, Klotzy.
They do. That's the thing. I can't. There's literally
we're the big dogs now.
There's no ammo.
Let the big dogs eat and have the small dogs piss on those porch as however that goes.
That's not how it goes at all. I understand you're excited, Booner, and honestly, I'm happy for you because at the end of the day, at least it should be that fuck in Ryan Day should be gone. He should be canned.
It should be all the players. You should let everyone go.
You fellas
they don't want to play football.
They know. They're staying with Heartline. They're staying exactly where they. Why would you leave?
Ryan Day's gonna have a job.
Ohio State is one of the biggest brands in football, and people are like, "Who are you going to go? Who's better than Ryan Day?" No one knew who Ryan Day was before he got hired. Urban Meyer loved him, gave him the keys. Wrong spoiled grandkid to give the fucking keys to. That dude's washed. He never coached an actual game before he was the coach at Ohio State, so it makes no sense. I don't even have the energy to.
Hey, you guys, the players don't even want. They didn't want to play football. They showed up thinking that no.
The defense
Ohio State players, coaches, Ryan Day. You can blame Ryan Day all you. The players have no heart. Look at this man. Look at this man. He's mentally broken. This man is one of your biggest captains over the last 4 years, Jack Sawyer. This man was the heart of Ohio State. This was like the A.J. Hawk of the generation. And this man, I'm just saying, that's how this man is looked at in Ohio State. Man's never beaten Michigan. Never. He's never even came close to it. Listen to this. Look at.
No one's ever compared him to AJ.
Oh. What a loser, bro. Everyone from Ohio State. And Klotzy, I love you. You're my brother, including you. All losers. You guys are all losers, man. It's tough, dude. It is like that. We can play it again. Hold on. You guys want to see it one more? What a loser, dude. You're playing the flag on our field, man. Hey, why not play football and win the game so you don't have to worry about that? A bunch of bums and losers, dude. A bunch of bums and losers. And Klotz, let's have the conversation. And I know I hope you're on my side at least, because if Ohio State won in Ann Arbor and you guys had a flag and planted, okay, we're off the field. Do your thing. You just beat us. You straight up, boom, knocked us out. It's over. Ohio State turning and acting like they had the big cojones to go up there and be like, there's no because. Let that. Hey, I'm just telling lost you why the football game. You just got beat and ran over like a little kid for 60 straight minutes.
They did
60 straight minutes.
They did. Man. They did. They decided to find the strength of the Michigan team, not just the Michigan defense, the Michigan team, and Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham, and just say, you know what, our Alabama transfer, our All-American center is out. We got a guy who's hardly played on his center.
Oh, here's some excuses if I've ever seen one.
No, I'm telling you, this is what, and it's like you have all those returning seniors. You have the hopes of going to win a national championship, and Davis Warren. That's who just went into Columbus and beat the shit out of you. That's what you just
Khalil Mullings too. Khalil Mullings.
No, Khalil Mullings was
absolute on his back. Had that
Khalil Mullings, like that. Michigan always has a solid. Davis Warren. That's what we're doing. Davis Warren. Will Johnson hurt.
No Will Johnson. No Colston Loveland. Our two best players on our football team had like turf toe, and they were out for the game.
You literally the best drive Ohio State had was in the last 2 minutes of the first half. They saw that and they said, We won't dare go back to that. We're going to do what got us nowhere in the first half and just keep going and going and going. Nice. Will Howard looking like Sam Bradford with the Rams out there, absolute bum.
I think, Klotz, honestly, I want to be honest with you, I think you're worried about the wrong thing. I think you guys need to break this program down from top to bottom. Ryan Day, the long snapper, the recruiting, everyone, because the fact that you guys waited and Ohio State waited until after the game to say, hey, maybe it's time to flip the switch. They put a flag in our and then, let's go get them. To show the most fight after the game is the most ridiculous loser scumbag mentality I have ever. They're Ryan Day. They don't want any flags to be on our. No, if you don't want a flag on your field, maybe you should just play the football game and not lose 13-10. Maybe you should score 14 points, Ryan Day. Hey, Jack Sawyer. Maybe you should, instead of getting an interception and taking your helmet off and running in circles like you just won the Super Bowl, maybe you should have kept your helmet on, locked into the sideline, and you should have dominated and went and got another stop instead of letting Khalil Mullings absolutely bully you and end the football game. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry. Hey, loser mentality at the end of the game, trying to fight the loser mentality.
It was I don't blame Michigan. I don't. If, like you said, if Ohio State would have done it, like I would have been pounding my chest. And Michigan it's the worst Michigan team since like the Rich Rod era, dude. Like this team is terrible. Davis Warren had 60 passing yards, 80 passing yards, whatever it was. Either way, this is what, and it's going to be like, oh, obviously, but that wouldn't have happened with Ryan Day, with Urban Meyer. That wouldn't happen with any of these coaches in Ohio State Pats. It's a Ryan Day problem. It's a culture problem. It's just like. They're just fraud. That's all they have been for the last couple of years. They're like the Ravens of college football, where it's like they look really good. And then when it matters the most, they take a piss on their fucking leg. And that's what they have right now. It's a culture problem. The Eagles, good one, Booner.
Yeah, the Eagles. Whoever's in the chat, they're like the Eagles. It's just crazy to me. Can I ask you one quick question before we do move on?
Is it going to be?
And I heard some Ohio State people actually answer, like some big names in the media actually answer this question. It was interesting. The question is, would you rather win a national championship and Ryan Day keep his job, or lose in the first round and so Ryan Day is out of there?
No, at this point, like you got there, and they're going to lose early in the playoffs. Like their offensive line is dog shit. Will Howard just is not. He's a good quarterback, but like in big moments, he just has no clue what to do. So they're gonna lose. And I think that's what should happen. There's I would not feel like
you would rather lose than win the Natty and keep him.
Because
that's what I've been hearing on the streets. Ohio State fans would rather lose.
You guys know, even before last year when they lost, they said Ryan Day should be gone. He has no business coaching Ohio State. He'd make a fine coach at Cal Tech, Georgia Tech. He'd make a fine coach at Missouri, but at Ohio State, that's like a top 3 program in college football history, premier program. You have to have
it's right up there with Michigan, almost with them.
Quarterback guy. There's so many. Chip Kelly's more qualified to be a head coach than Ryan Day, and he wouldn't even get it right.
I don't know.
Does to people just like.
I'm with you. It's crazy to me. The only thing in my mind, Michigan's season, obviously people can say all they want. You guys aren't going to be in the play. We just won a national championship and then backed it up with one of the worst teams that we've had in the last decade, and we beat Ohio State. So it's
that's so
bad.
Bad.
It's the best 12 months. The only thing that would make it better is winning another Natty. This was best case scenario for Michigan fans. The only thing that could take us off our pedestal, I think, is Ohio State going to win a national championship. And then instantly I'd be like, oh, that's tough.
I still don't even think that you could, though, because we beat you.
Head to head. We should have won the Natty at the end of the day. We beat you.
So
in Toledo, it's a mixed Ohio. It's mostly Ohio State, but everybody and their fucking mom that was a Michigan fan was just talking shit. I wanted to work. I worked with a couple guys who are Michigan fans, and it's just so fucking obnoxious. So obnoxious.
I think it's fair. It's just fair.
You knew it was coming. Yeah.
You have to understand, though.
Just an ambush that is already there.
I think the obnoxiousness of all of this is very fair, because if it was just we were both 11-0 or 10-1 going into this game and you win, last year, I don't think any of us were. The last 2 or 3 years, it was never this obnoxious. But when you have 6 wins and go into Columbus and get a win, you deserve to be the most obnoxious Michigan fans of all. And you know that, Klotz, because if it was flipped, you would be you would be going nuts. That's why I love the fact these Ohio State. I have so many Ohio State fans in my comments. And by the way, I put it on it blew up, so I don't think I can backstep on this. It has about 4,000 likes. It is big. I said I publicly said I was out on Gus Johnson, and it blew up. And people were welcome. So I'm out on Gus Johnson, I guess. I can't backpedal. Too many people saw it.
Tonight,
did it really blow up? You said you're out on Gus Johnson and it exploded?
Dude, it did 4,000. You can go look at it. I said Gus Johnson.
What?
Sticking up. Yeah, I was Gus Johnson sticking up for trying to blame Michigan for the fight at the end is one of the most ridiculous things of all time. And I was good for Joel Klatt sticking up for Michigan. And I said, officially out on Gus Johnson. And then it just blew up. And everyone was welcome to the club. There was thousands of Michigan fans that are welcome
you
to
did.
the club.
You did get a lot. Oh my God. 300.
It's out of no. Yeah. I was thinking, even if I want to go back to Gus, I don't think I can.
Yeah, the whole.
You can cancel Gus all you want.
Do you see Sarkisian tell his players to get off the field when they tried planting the flag?
Smart. Yeah, just move
they
on.
Did it after the game.
Yeah. After Texas A&M, they were he's you ain't doing that shit.
Dude, Texas did it to Michigan. Oregon did it to Michigan.
Yeah,
and Michigan just got off the field. It's if you get beat between the lines in 60 minutes, it's the same thing with Baker when he was in college. It's just that's part. The only thing I hate about all of this now is college football is going to ban it because of Ohio State, and that's the worst thing to ever happen in college football. That you can't celebrate like that, and you can't have traditions like that, and it's all on Ohio State.
Hey, the Baker.
Of course, Ohio State throwing the investigations out there, doing this, doing that. They're not. They shouldn't be college. They're the farthest thing from college football.
The Baker Mayfield flag plant lives in the. That's that man.
It all just stings.
Yeah, it's got to stink, Klotzy. I mean, you just the crazy thing is Ohio State thinking they can out physical the naturally more physical team. That's what Ohio State is. You guys, you got 3-4 NFL receivers
on the outside.
Yeah, you got 3-4 NFL receivers, man.
Just run 4 birds every time. They would have won the game.
That's what's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I know.
It was clearly the better football team too.
And they tried playing Michigan's game, and Michigan was okay, yeah, let's run the ball all day, throw interceptions. That was crazy. I couldn't believe it, Klotzy. I mean, it's a tough position you're in, but you know what? You're a Lions fan. At least you have that going for you. Could be a Browns fan.
True.
Well, Klotz, to be honest though,
I'm
sorry, your guy Cam Ward too. he got knocked out of the college
We really
football
didn't
playoffs.
have to bring that. Hey, it's not Cam Ward's fault. The dude balled out, so don't act like it. Dude, he had three of them.
He got knocked out by Kyle McCord.
That's
what I'm saying. Like as a fan of Ohio State, it was such a bad weekend.
I will stick up because I watched that game. Incredible game. That Cam Ward did ball out. Their defense, I don't know what's going.
It's terrible.
That's terrible. And it is. I still think Shedeur. I still would take Shedeur, but Cam Ward he's really good. I can't deny that. I mean, Ohio State, Michigan. All right, you had the Lions, Bears, which we got wrapped up and we talked about last week, which was a huge win given the injuries that are still kind of taking place. And then over the weekend, we get some news. The Lions are going shopping, and they got former Pro Bowler, first rounder, Jamal Adams.
All right, we don't need to do that. I'll mute you so fast. No more Gus Johnson.
Gus Johnson. He's signing with the practice squad with the idea that he will be eventually elevated to the Lions roster. If you guys remember, he asked to be released from the Tennessee Titans, and they released him. He got to chill in free agency a little bit, and or I guess just during the season. And the Lions reached out to him. They have injuries to their linebacker core. If I remember correctly, he was asked to play linebacker before, and he was like, nah. And now the Lions are like, you're going to play linebacker. We need linebackers bad. They not only signed Jamal Adams.
Come on now.
They got Kwon. And Klotz. I like Kwon.
He's good.
I know it's a Klotzy guy. I like Kwon a lot because I've seen him play football recently, and he's been very good. So, I know what I got in Kwon. But they signed Jamal, Kwon Alexander, bolstering up some of trying to bolster up some of the injuries that they've had. Malcolm Rodriguez out for the year. We didn't get to talk about that. ACL tear. It's brutal, dude. I hate it for Malcolm. He was in for a great opportunity for him. He's out for the entire season now. You don't have Derek Barnes. Pat McAfee today showed a graphic on their show, and it was the Lions depth chart. It is insane, how many guys are injured right now. Jamal Adams, Kwon Alexander, fellas, to kind of help out some of those defense injuries. What do you guys think of each player? What do you like about each player?
I'll say this, just defensively, and I think this is the big thing with Brad. And do you guys remember, last year, fans and people who follow the team and cover the team, that was a big thing was Brad, in season. He added Bruce Irvin, all these random old guys where it was that's not really going to help us much. I think this year you're starting to see it because Brad's got to a point, fellas. Jeff, to your point, if I'm looking at the Lions depth chart right now, defensively, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys on IR and guys that get significant snaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 or 8 of them significant snap guys. That's over half of your starters just sitting on IR right now. And then the other half of those guys are basically second string guys who come in for those guys. And you're all right, now we're sitting here with threes. So first of all, Klotz, and I'm interested to see too, obviously Kwon Alexander, unbelievable. I went back and just kept watching his highlights after they signed him. The man, the hits that this guy puts on, Klotzy, this is a Klotzy type guy. Interceptions, sacks, fumble. He is just a ball player, which I love. But number two, and Jeff, I listened to your YouTube video a little bit about Jamal Adams. I know you're this isn't the old Jamal Adams, but when you put a guy in a defense with AG right now in a team that's a Super Bowl contender, we have how many players, fellas, have we seen blossom on this Detroit Lions team? Players that maybe are a little older, players that have gone places. Tim Patrick, we have seen players that have. Look at what DJ Reader's doing. DJ Reader was great. DJ Reader has the most sacks in a season in his career already with 3. He has never had that many in a season. We're not even halfway through the season. And the man's missed the first 2 or 3 games. And he already has 3. So you're seeing guys come into this defense and they are going out there with AG coaching. The defensive line coach, Terrell Williams, Kelvin Shepard that I'm sure Jamal Adams will be working with. This is perfect, fellas. I think the Jamal Adams ones, I think Kwon's going to be huge. I think this Jamal Adams ones, guys, this man had 9.5 sacks a couple seasons ago. 9.5 sacks. And the reason that he didn't sign with teams, he was with the Titans, fellas, or the Panthers, Titans, or the Panthers, I think.
Titans.
The Titans. The reason this man like was struggling to sign places and left Seattle was because they wanted him to play linebacker. I think he came to a realization and he talked to AG on the phone, and AG said, listen, like, we're going to win a Super Bowl. It's either you want to be a part of it and you become a linebacker and you work with us and you become a playmaker and revitalize your career, and this is the second chapter of your career, or we'll go get someone else. And he respects AG. I think it's perfect. Like, I think Jamal Adams is going to get a lot of snaps. I think he's going to play a lot for this team with all these injuries. And maybe I'm crazy, Klotzy. Maybe I'm not. I hope you're with me. I think he's going to have an impact on this team down the stretch and on a Super Bowl run. We know what Jamal Adams is. Just because he wasn't playing football doesn't mean he can't play football anymore. There was a reason he wasn't playing, and it was because he didn't want to switch. He didn't want to go to linebacker. You put AG and Brad and Dan in front of him and say, hey, do you want a Super Bowl? We'll love a Super Bowl. Then come. You have to play this. This is what we need. You come and do it. I'm getting red over here, just getting so pumped up right now. I might be having an allergic reaction. I might be dying right now.
Well, let me real quick before you go, Klotzy. I'm going to play this clip. This is Jamal. This is from the doc, so credit to him.
Shout out to Doc.
He was at Jamal met with the media. It was like a little, it wasn't like he was at a press conference, but what do you call it? A little scrum, a little media scrum, I guess they would call it.
Just an interview, yeah.
And here's Jamal talking to the people why he chose the Lions.
You had on this team from a distance the last couple of years, even this season.
Yeah, I mean, they've been kicking everybody's ass. So I'm fortunate enough to, again, just to be on a team that's rolling like this. And, whatever I can do to help, that's what I'm here for.
Okay, so he also said, and I want to give some background to what you said about AG because Danny Rogers put this out. He also did say in the little media scrum he was talking to the media, he said it was a no-brainer when AG called. Jamal Adams was said on the signing in Detroit. He says AG was at his pro day at LSU 8 years ago, and they've kept in touch since. So history with AG,
yes,
Lions, injuries, it all makes some sense there, Klotzy.
One more thing too, with that, just to follow up on what he said, he had mentioned too, and this is what I love. I remember Jamo said it in the offseason. Said this Lions team was good without him. Like he's like, this Lions team is a Super Bowl team without me. So like there is no like ego for him to think, hey, they need me. He was like, they never needed me. I didn't reach out to them, like or like they didn't have to reach out to me. They did because they want me here. Or he, like it was like they do not need me here. Like they will win with or without me. So mindset wise, I don't think that like usually Jamal Adams, I know we've seen in the past, maybe people think that there's a mindset. He is like, I'm here to win. They don't need me.
Yeah, and to speak on Kwon Alexander real quick, then I'll get to Jamal. I love David Long. They saw Malcolm Rodriguez go down. We got an issue. We got to promote Kwon. So David Long's going to stay there. But Kwon Alexander, I bet even by the end of probably not this week, but next week will be over him. But Jamal Adams, I think with Malcolm Rodriguez going down is exactly what you need at the linebacker spot because Malcolm Rodriguez, like he is more athletic at this point, but Malcolm Rodriguez is 5'11", 234 pounds. Jamal Adams is 6'1", 213. So he's a little bit taller and skinnier, but Jamal Adams can hit. Like if there's one thing Jamal Adams will never forget how to do, it is to hit. And with Cullen and the injury bug, you're not going to have to worry about him because they're just going to be running in rotation around Jack Campbell. And as far as the edge goes, Jamal Adams will be very good at stopping the run and getting those edge runs, contain and push back into DJ Reader, Aleem McNeil, and all those guys. So I love both of these signings. And I agree with you, Boone. Like when you look down the road at like the Philadelphia matchups, even the LA Rams, if they're going to be in the playoffs, teams like that with explosive offenses down in the playoffs, and even the Green Bay Packers that you could run into, the Vikings down the road. Jamal Adams is going to be great because that's a flexible piece for AG because he's not the athlete that he used to be, but he still knows how to run zone coverages. He can keep up with some tight ends, and he's a physical safety that's going to be playing linebacker. So it's going to be exciting to see how they use him. I love Jamal Adams coming to it because I think he's a player too that when he went to Seattle, he was expecting to win because he was in New York, did not win a damn thing there. And so now with Detroit, he finally has like one last shot at it. And I think that's the same thing why people were excited with Zadarius Smith. Obviously, different situation, but these guys have something to actually play for when it comes to the careers because Jamal Adams, he was like a Hall of Fame type of talent, but the injuries caught up to him. So for him to walk away with the ring, that probably makes him feel like 1,000 times better about riding into the sunset and retirement.
Yeah, I made the video, and what I talked about in the video, and obviously more information came out after I made the video, of course, and it clarified what his role will be. I kind of speculated, and then it was kind of people saw him practicing at linebacker, so it was kind of official what he's going to be doing. What I talked about is I thought initially kind of his role, they would be asking him to do just half of what Iffy would do. Not coverage ability, obviously, but they would blitz Iffy a lot and he'd have like a couple sacks a year. They're missing that. I think Jamal can certainly bring that. Like you mentioned, Jamal had 9.5 sacks in one of his last years.
2020, yeah.
He is a blitzing maniac. He can do that. He can tackle, like you guys both said. The only thing I brought up is like his cover. He's not covering guys, like that's not his specialty, but he can do so many things that, again, the Lions kind of do need. I don't know what to expect out of him, if I'm being honest with you. I don't. I like Jamal Adams. I don't know what to make of him at this point in his career, but what I do know is what you said earlier, Boone, and I know for a fact Aaron Glenn always has the path, like some path for a player. He has it in his mind before, like when they first reached out, I'm sure AG was already thinking how they would use Jamal. That's what I do know, and I do have confidence. I think we'll have a role for him. They won't ask him to do what they don't think he can do. So I'm not worried about, Jamal Adams being a liability, but I'm not expecting to see Jamal. I'm not expecting to see like early years Jamal, but I do expect to see a very solid player. Like I think it's a good signing. And honestly,
I do too.
I do think he had other teams. I don't think it was a bunch of teams, but I could see a couple teams reaching out to him. I don't think it was the Lions were just like, hey, you want to play for us? Like I think he looked at the Lions and was like, I want to play here.
I think he's turned teams down this season where he said he saw he said his agent and his dad were like, hey, you need to answer this phone call. And he was like, why? What is it? And he was like, it's AG. And he was like, what, with the Lions? And he's like, I'm in. Like instantly. Like that was his first thought was like, oh, the Lions are calling, I'm in. So it sounded like maybe he was waiting for a call for a contender. I think the biggest thing and what's going to be interesting to me a little bit, to your point there, Jeff, like I was saying earlier, is like, how does AG use him? Like, I feel like they are going to have a really good plan. The thing with Jamal is like the last 3 years, it's been like an injury riddled type of career. Like he's had like, I think like probably played in like 13 total games the last 3 seasons. And that's like the biggest question mark. So like you're going in, maybe it's a good thing that, he hasn't played all year. So he hasn't had to get all beat up and like he's still in shape, I'm sure. And he only comes in halfway through with 6 or 7 games left in the playoff run to where he doesn't have to play a full season, put all of that on his body. And he's able to come in and just compete. And I'm sure AG and them know, like, we need to make sure he stays healthy. And then on top of that too, one thing that I like instantly thought of, like, and Jeff, I think I talked to you like right after the signing. And then today, obviously he was working with the linebackers, but instantly my first thought was he was getting asked to be a linebacker in different franchises. So I was like, okay, this feels like a situation to where, yeah, you have Trevor Nowatzki and Ben Neiman and Jack Campbell. It seems like they're looking with the Kwon Alexander, with the David Long, now with the Jamal Adams, they're looking to alleviate some pressure off Jack Campbell the next couple weeks until maybe Anzo comes back in the playoffs, or maybe you can get Derek Barnes in a miracle late in the playoffs. Like they're just trying to alleviate that pressure on one player really with Jack Campbell, because he's a second-year guy and he is the only starter in there. Like the next 4 guys are all out, so it's like you're trying to get him some help. So Jamal's not going to be asked to sit here and play as much as, probably Rodrigo or Anzo, but like, hey, this is going to be a rotation probably with Jamal, with David Long, Kwon Alexander, Ben Neiman, Trevor Nowatzki, and Jack Campbell. Yes. And people aren't really thinking about it like that instantly because it's Jamal Adams and Kwon Alexander. That's what it's going to be. And that might actually help out Jamal Adams staying healthy as well through a full, 6 games left and 3 in the playoffs. Like through that whole time, you're sitting there and you're like, you don't have to put that much pressure on him, but he's a playmaker. So like, he's like, to me, it's like your Swiss Army knife in that linebacking group. You can do whatever you want with him. You can blitz him. You can put him in coverage. Imagine Jamal Adams on like a tight end. Like he's like a perfect guy, I'm sure, if he's playing at a high level to cover a tight end. I would think, at least. I don't know. Obviously, he's good. The last 3 years.
I think he's a good voice in the locker room too. Like I think he's always been kind of an outspoken player. So in terms of like leadership, he brings experience, and he knows what it takes to play at a high level. Not that maybe he can't at this point in his career, but he knows. And he's someone that, again, will give advice. And he's going to be around 2 young safeties you have right now. So it's good. I don't mind it at all. Let's bring in someone who would know a lot more about this and some of the information we're talking about currently. And remember, this interview is brought to you guys by BetUS. It is the beat writer, Detroit Lions beat writer for M Live. Joins us every Monday. You guys know who it is, Mr. Kory Woods. Please welcome to the show, Kory.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on?
Kory, a lot of things transpired over the weekend, man. All right, so we got the Lions win. A lot of injuries occur, of course, and then you have the signings. You have Kwon Alexander, Jamal Adams. I'll just start with the obvious, the big one, Jamal Adams. We talked about it, and I wasn't really sure what his role would be. It's been kind of clear he's going to play that linebacker role, a role he's been asked to play formally in his career. What do you make of the signing, the significance of players choosing the Lions, and just what do you think his role will be? What kind of impact do you think Jamal Adams will make for the Lions?
Well, first off, I think that it was a solid signing for the Lions, first and foremost, because when you have Malcolm Rodriguez down, you're already down Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes, Jalen Reeves-Maybin. I mean, you have a lot of that. You have what was once one of your deepest, grooms is now extremely thin. So when you bring in a guy like Jamal Adams that has the build of a linebacker and was just sitting at home and waiting for an opportunity, it's a low risk, high reward. I mean, you're not going to be asking this guy to go ahead and play in coverage, but he can play that box line. He can play that box safety that you need, similar to a role that Ifeatu Melifonwu was doing. Iffy is really good on the blitz. So, and we don't even know when Iffy is coming back. So he can step in and, create some pressure, help with the run game right there. So I think it's a good signing. He's on the practice squad right now. I guess we all can pretty much say if he stays healthy and he performs, he's going to be elevated. But, he has familiarity. It's not, I won't let us say real familiarity. Kwon Alexander has the real familiarity with Aaron Glenn, but Aaron Glenn and Adams do have a strong connection and a bond. He talked about that today when he spoke to the media. So it's a smart move. Guy has a high IQ, 3-time Pro Bowler, multiple-time All-Pro. And it's, again, you needed the bodies, and this guy is right there. So if he's healthy, it's a good move.
Hey, Kory, one thing, and I'm interested to know, just with all the injuries and everyone on the IR, are there any? I was looking at the roster last week, and when they started to, let James Houston go and all these different spots started opening up, one thought that I had was maybe they're going to take some guys off the IR. Is there a chance? Like, I know this IR list defensively, it's long. Is there a chance some of these guys actually start to come off the IR? I know there are different guys like the commish. Obviously Anzo when he in a couple weeks, hopefully, Germ with those injuries where they weren't like real like season endings, like some guys like Rodrigo. Are we going to start seeing some of these guys come back, do you think, over the next like 2 or 3 weeks before the playoffs?
Me and Ben actually talked about that today on our podcast, Dungeon of Doom podcast. You can find it everywhere on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. Me and Ben talked about that today, about some of these guys potentially coming back. So, Germ, I'm pretty sure that maybe his clock might start, very soon, very possible. It's still kind of mysterious right there, but we haven't heard anything about season ending, so you could possibly see his clock starting soon. When you look at Anzalone, a couple of weeks ago, they were saying that it was a 6 to 8 week injury. So if you look at it like that, that probably puts him back closer towards the playoffs. I think that's why going ahead and getting that number 1 seed and locking that up, that is very paramount, because if it's leaning towards more of the 8-week side, then you're going to get him back closer towards the divisional round. So that's pretty good right there. Derek Barnes, at first we thought that was a season-ending injury, but they haven't really said anything too much about it. And Barnes has been around in the building, in the practice facility, so that's also another name or eye guy to keep an eye on. Not trying to say he's coming back, but he's been in the building, so that's something. So I believe we'll still start to see some of these guys come back very soon. It's just a matter of when.
And in the meantime, Kory, until those guys do come back, looking ahead to this week against the Packers, what do you think it's going to look like defensively with these guys coming in with banged up, but then you have an offense in Green Bay that's starting to find their stride a little bit. And we remember what happened last year when the Packers came into Ford Field. So what's your expectation this week against this Packers offense?
Well, when you look at the linebacker room and you look at that linebacker room, it's kind of like we'll see. I think it's going to be something like, it's going to be by committee. Obviously, Jack Campbell's going to be out there. He's going to be the green dot. He's going to be the main guy out there. But everything else is going to be, I think you're going to see a lot of guys floating in and out. But the one thing that I think fans should realize is that, yes, they are depleted in their linebacker corps, and they are without Aiden Hutchinson, but they still have that dynamic duo of Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. You still got Terry Arnold. You still got Carlton Davis. You still got Aleem DJ Reader and Zadarius Smith out there, and then Josh, Pascal, he's going to be working back through some things very soon. So, I mean, it's when it comes to Green Bay, it's going to be very tough. I mean, Josh Jacobs is playing some of his best football. I mean, he's third in the NFL. He's third leading rusher in the league. So you got to account for him. He's hasn't had a 100-yard game against the Lions since 2019. So they've been decent in bottling him up. So that's that. But again, last year, Green Bay came in there on Thanksgiving and they beat them 29-22. So this week, what I'm expecting is I'm expecting a very tough game. I think that Green Bay is going to go ahead and test them guys with the rushing attack. But I think that the Lions can possibly squeak it out. It's very possible. It's going to be very difficult because you're going to be rotating a lot of guys in, and if there's anything that I could say that can give fans a plus is that Aaron Glenn has been doing a masterclass of patching together this defense ever since the early injuries to Hutchinson, Davenport, and Barnes. So if there's anybody you can trust with the way that he's done so far, it's Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, Kory, that's my biggest thing, and we're going to talk about it more later, but the defensive line, the injuries that have kind of occurred, you already have no Aiden Hutchinson, but you lose Josh and you lose Levi. My biggest thing is getting pressure on Jordan Love or getting pressure for any elite quarterback for that matter. I know Bill Belichick talked about it on Pat McAfee. His big thing watching the Detroit Lions, he's concerned about the pass rush. What do you think? Because I'm watching Philadelphia and Baltimore, watching Philly suffocate Lamar Jackson. Like they have all these defensive linemen. What do you think of, number one, the current state of this pass rush and facing Jordan Love, but big picture, like facing some of these really good teams with really good quarterbacks, how they're going to match up given the injuries that they've been trying to overcome. And now they just last week released James Houston.
Well, let's start with the other part first, James Houston. They let James Houston out the building because, and first off, James is a great guy, great interview. The Lions really wanted it to work out with him, but they just were not seeing what they wanted to see from him in practice. So you got a guy like Muhammad who's out there stepping up on the defensive line, who I forgot to mention. He's been providing quality snaps for them. And then you got other guys coming in there too, providing quality snaps. It's like, okay, we got to go ahead and free up some room. But when you're talking about getting that pass rush, it is a concern. It is a concern. But again, one thing I just continue to say is that when they haven't been able to generate that pass rush, they've been able to get takeaways. They've been able to get stops. And that's one thing that this defense has been able to hang its hat on. Yeah, they did not, they could have played a little bit better against the Colts. They could have played a little bit better against Caleb Williams. But again, they're figuring this thing out on the fly. So it's pretty much every game is a we'll see. It's pretty much is what it's been because it's you don't know what to expect because a lot of these guys are now playing together for the first time ever when they get out there on that field.
Yeah, hey, Kory, other side of the ball, offensively, one thing that keeps standing out to me is the Sam Laporta situation going on. Obviously, he had the two big touchdowns in the red zone last week versus the Bears. But I think there is a sense to where it's like he's not getting the yards and he's not doing the numbers aren't there that we saw his rookie year. Do you think now, and is this something to do with injuries, or do you think it's just, hey, the way the scheme is with JMO stepping up, all the different weapons, like with the running backs getting more? Do you think it's just that, or do you think it's like, hey, he's just had a bad year with injuries and he's kind of just fighting through that? What's going on with Sam Laporta this year?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I mean, with the injuries, he hasn't been out there consistently. He has been able to get into a real rhythm. And then on top of that, everybody else has been stepping up as well. I mean, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown doing St. Brown things. Like you just said, Jamison Williams has stepped up in a much bigger role than he did last year. Tim Patrick is out there balling. Jahmyr Gibbs is somebody that you have to factor in the passing game. So, and then on top of it, this is a dynamic Lions offense where they don't have to just beat you one way every week. And that's the great thing. Also, the great thing about their offense is nobody on that offense cares about how they beat you that week or they're crying about their touches or their catches. They just want to go ahead and get the W. So Ben Johnson has developed a mindset of we're going to do what is best to get the W that week. So I mean, with the way that Laporta has, been dealing with some injuries, maybe they're trying to mask that a little bit and go into some of the other guys, let him work himself back into a rhythm. I mean, when he first came back, you saw he was a little rusty, but I mean, again, last week called a couple of touchdowns. But I really wouldn't worry about it because Laporta remember, this guy is still an elite athlete, still an all-pro, and they have a bunch of other weapons that they can go ahead and hit you with. And I mean, if I don't think any team is going to forget Sam Laporta is there, and if they do, shame on them. That they're gonna pay.
And something that was kind of controversial that happened towards the end of that game in Chicago, but honestly was kind of a difference maker when you look at the outcome of the game, was J-Mo kind of freaking out after. And you see Antoine Randall kind of going off on the sideline, and I know it wasn't like he was necessarily needed out there because you have guys on that offense that can make plays still, but you saw that they didn't put him out there after that penalty. So what did you make of the whole flipping the ball to Tyreek Stevenson and then the reaction by Antoine Randall saying, hey, you're not going out there for the rest of the game, Kory?
I think, okay, so let's start from the beginning. Jameson Williams should not have flipped the ball in Tyreek Stevenson's face. That was just uncalled for, especially at that time of the game. But the thing that is not really getting talked about a lot is that as J-Mo was coming onto the sidelines, Stevenson tripped him. So that's what triggered that reaction to him flipping the ball in his face. Doesn't excuse him from doing it at that point of the game because that was a 15-yard penalty. But he didn't just do it flippantly. He did it because Stevenson, he got away with one, tripping him off to the sidelines. And then on top of it, you can't argue. You can't argue with your position coach. You can't argue with one of your coaches in general. And I mean, benching him for the rest of the game, I think that was a smart decision. That's the way that he's going to learn, because that could have cost them the game. And to Jameson Williams' credit, Dan Campbell said that he was unsolicited, stood up in front of the locker room and apologized. And I mean, I know these instances with Jameson Williams, that you can say, hey, they're getting kind of old, but I'll say this much: all players are not the same. All people are not the same. Some players are more mature or in different situations than others. And I mean, at the end of the day, the kid has a good heart. He's not some jerk out here. He's not some of these athletes you see out here that are young and intentionally being jerks. He's just a good kid that has to figure out his own way and figure out how to not continue stacking up these bad choices. But I thought that, hey, they won the game. It didn't cost them. They nipped it in the bud. Move on.
Yeah, I love
it.
You can tell Kory's a dad now. He's just like, you can tell he's just like, hey man, shit's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let him grow, let him learn. We appreciate you, Kory, as always, joining us on Mondays, man. You always crush. Check out Kory's stuff, by the way. Follow him on social media at Kory Woods.
Check it out.
Great follow.
He's full time now, and I got to get rid of that Pistons thing at the bottom. That's not me. He's full time Lions. He's crushing it. Kory,
Yeah.
Hey, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Appreciate you, Kory.
Kory Woods, M Live, and as always, brought to you guys by Bet US. But a lot of what Kory was saying there, that's why I love Kory. He'll say his opinion, say what he thinks. And
He's spot on always too.
Yeah.
Kory's like dialed in.
He's even keel. He's like cool as like what like a Stuart Scott is the other side of the pillow. You know what I mean? That's what Kory is.
Can we real quick too? I just seen in the chat. I'm sorry to bring this up, the Jahmyr Gibbs thing, and I saw a lot of people and. A lot of people are like, Justin Rogers snitched on it. Listen, and I'll just say this real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just say, I am happy, and I could be on the wrong side of this. I'm happy Justin Rogers said something, because Dan Campbell, when he gets asked that question, if you didn't know, the man had no clue, zero clue. You have pass protection calls, you have play calls. You have so many different things on there. And obviously, you've seen two different sides. You've seen different athletes say, oh, that was a big deal. And some say it's not as big a deal as you think. But for Dan not to know and those calls to just be out there, if Dan didn't figure out, the Packers have some of your calls. That's a big deal. So for Justin to hey, Dan, did you see this? There's no snitching or anything. Justin did his job. At least I think he did. I could be wrong, but I think he did his job. He saw it, asked a question. Doc's taught me a lot about that. Ask the right questions, right? I think it was a good thing, though, because if Dan never found out about that and they were never able to switch their calls or kind of address that situation, you get into Thursday's game, that's tough. And I listen, like the people saying like trade Jahmyr or Jahmyr deserves a suspension or like no nothing. There's no punishment, nothing. It's just, hey, Jahmyr, that that's a no-go. Let's not do that ever again. And I'm sure for him that to come out, he's like, I will never do that again. Like, I think he knows. But it's like that needed to get brought to an attention. Like Jahmyr should have stepped up and said something to Dan, like, hey, I accidentally posted this. I realized that I took it down. It was on my TikTok or whatever it was. I took it down. But hey, just so you guys know, we need to switch these calls. Like you do have to step up and say something. Because the fact that Dan had no clue and like left the press conference, it was like, I gotta go figure this out. And like just leaves. Like that's crazy. That's the crazy part to me.
Shut it down after
Dan didn't know what it was. He didn't know what was shown in the photo. That's why he was like, "Uh-oh, I gotta go."
You could tell instantly. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta go figure this out like now."
And then once he probably saw the photo, that's when he went on 97.1 and was more like, if you need calls, if you need those protection calls to beat us, or if we lose because of those protection calls, maybe we aren't as good at whatever he said." But he didn't really brushed it off. I will say, I think, and this is just a theory, I think he probably had a conversation with Jahmyr, like, dude, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Is it the end of the world? No. I'm with Michael. He said it so well, said in the chat. He said, not a big deal. Dumb, yes.
Spot on. It's not like Jahmyr's not going to get in trouble for it. It's just like,
no. It's just like, that's why, and Shannon and Ocho talked about it, and Shannon was like, they never allowed phones in the running back meeting rooms. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why they like, should just be like, no phones in here, man, at all, just to prevent a mistake like that. You know, just don't even no phones in any of these rooms. Well, when you actually look at the photo, you couldn't really see, like, you could see the names. Calls. You just couldn't see like what they were. It was really blurry. I don't know if maybe there's technology now that you could like clear stuff. Probably, honestly.
I'm sure in the NFL, like $1 billion organization,
they probably have stuff.
Hey, FBI, can you guys do this for us? Boom. Yeah,
probably. It was like Jamar Jefferson like dancing too. It was the most like random ass. Yeah, I know. It was the most like random ass video. Yeah, he's fine. I don't even think those people have brain cells, to be honest.
Dude, I mean, it was very dumb. I was shocked though. I will say this: the initial reaction of people being like, "Justin Rogers snitch." I was like, one, that's his job, but two, like, thank God that was said, just so they can nip this thing in the butt and they don't have to like nothing else gets out. Like, if Jahmyr did that and then like they don't talk to him and say, hey, none of that. What if it happened again? And you're like, like we cut this out quick.
Yeah, get it out. Yeah, let's move on. Change some of the calls. I saw like Kim Kardashian in there. Caitlyn Jenner. Now it's like Caitlyn. I don't know what those. I
would love to know how some of these teams come up with some of these calls. It's so crazy to me.
Well, David Bakhtiari tweeted out like it's a big deal. I'm sure he saw that photo and was just giving his opinion because he's a former Packer. But you guys know the NFL is like when guys get traded, it's all similar. It's all similar schematically, but teams have different terminology. You know, they'll alter schemes, like they'll change things up, but it's a lot of the same. Like premise in the Lions, like those calls, all those protection calls are like their unique calls. So that's why he was like, yeah, it's a problem because, you know, if Jared is at the line of scrimmage saying,
yelling out Caitlyn Jenner, they know, boom, this is the protection. We're gonna hit it.
Oh, wait.
That's what I saw that. I was like, oh God, like I'm surprised that there wasn't more attention brought to that one.
There's always a reason for all this.
We got to see a little bit of the inside mind of Ben Johnson.
He's such a
I looked at that honestly, dude. I saw that picture. I just stared at it for like 2 hours. I was like, this is what Ben Johnson does at night. Like, this is thrilling,
dude. I know there's so much writing on that whiteboard. Like,
that's just like one part. Imagine he's got millions of different things.
Yeah, no doubt.
Have you seen like a NFL playbook? Like Dan Orlovsky, do you remember in the training camp? He was going through some stuff, and I was like, dude, this is crazy.
You ever seen Sean Payton call a play?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's crazy.
His play calls are the longest play calls I have ever heard. Like, and I've heard some mic'd up stuff. Sean Payton's like double XY curve, white right, white eagle, right left. You know,
Those are John Gruden ones too. Have you heard those videos?
And then Bo Nick,
Phil Sims or not
Dude,
Phil Sims, Chris Sims.
crazy.
The banana.
He's just like, you could just see it. Mentally, the capacity just isn't there.
And then Bo Nix is just like, he'll say the play, and it's like, all right, break. And everyone just kind of knows. It's like, dude, what the hell is going on? That's crazy. It is really wild. Well, hey, Kory brought up James Williams. I don't know. We'll see today. I want to go studs and duds just before we have our guest on. I'm curious, who we got today? Studs and duds. I'm really curious today. All right, because I'll tell you this. My stud. I want to start with my stud. Unequivocally, unquestioned, is the big fella up front, DJ Reader. I'm giving him a stud. And we talked about it before the game, Boone. DJ Reader needed to have a big one, and he did. Not just – and honestly, what I like about DJ Reader is he's bringing more pass rush ability. I don't know what's his career high in sacks.
Career high on the year in sacks. I think that was his biggest game of his career.
Dude, he's showing he's got some juice, DJ Reader. I like it a lot. I like DJ. And he had a massive game on the ground too, kind of slowing the run until late when, DeAndre got some of those garbage yards. But they did a great job against DeAndre Swift, and he got after Caleb, bullied whoever is at left guard center, bullied him. So I'm going to go DJ Reader, my first stud.
I love that. Honestly, I had DJ Reader as mine. I mean, again,
it's good.
3 sacks already this season. He's only played in 11 games. Like he's through 11 games. He has never had a 3-sack season, and he's only through 11 games. So what? 6 games left, 5 games left, and like he can go out there and get 4 or 5 sacks, especially with the way right now this defensive line. It's basically this defensive line is essentially going through. It starts with DJ Reader and Ali McNeil, and then it's Zadarius Smith and whoever else is filling in on the other side, like whoever they have going, or whoever's healthy. So shout out DJ Reader. Another one that I could throw in there. It didn't really, and I'm not going to give out some of the other ones because I do have my Kool-Aid jugs potentially tonight. So I'll just give this one because he doesn't have a Kool-Aid jug. But Jack Fox, he had 2 punts, both within the 20, and then he had the one at the end of the game that landed at like the Khalil Dorsey with the heels on the line, landed at the 1. It obviously didn't. You ended up winning the game, but they ended up marching down the field either way. But just Jack Fox to step up, man, make that punt in basically primetime football, Thanksgiving at home, to step up and say, I'm going to put this thing at the 1. Like that is ice in his veins. Like the best of the best do that. I saw the Pro Bowl votes today, and he was like 5th as punters. Like that's crazy. It's crazy. Like even if he doesn't get a lot of punts, he should be an all-pro punter, even though he doesn't get a ton because of the offense he plays for. When he does punt the ball,
he's pinning.
Go look at the punter stats, dude. Like average yards inside the 20. If you do it by like punt, like everything, he is the highest that there is. Like he is top 2. Like he is the best in the league. He just doesn't get that many opportunities. But he capitalizes when he does. So Jack Fox, I would say, is another big one.
Hey, I'm gonna shed some light on a guy who needs some light now. Not the biggest name, and Kory kind of talked about him for a second, but a guy that was he was just getting held the whole game. And then when it really matters, Al-Quadin Muhammad, AQM, baby. Yeah. He had a game, and that's not just his first big game. I think he almost gives that flash of what James Houston was. Now, he's not going to be what James Houston have 9.5 sacks that year. He's not going to give you 9.5 sacks. That look of that athletic, long defensive end that can get to the quarterback, not that good against the run, but he has a good burst. He's been balling out, and I think he's going to continue to get more reps. And I think when you look at him on the opposite side of Zadarius, he's going to get basically no attention with DJ and Aleem on the inside. So to have him fresh, and you talk about guys like Jamal Adams, like if you put him and AQ on this edge, like that's an athletic edge that can get some ground coverage. So I really like what he's been doing, and he's just going to keep getting better and better. Once he puts some size on, he's a guy that I could see the Lions kind of carrying into next season if he keeps playing the way he does, because he's giving them some juice. Like there's really not that many bad snaps out of him. I mean, what was the game? Was it Tennessee where he had like 9 pressures?
Yeah,
I didn't see how much he had last week, but
I mean that
had 3 or 4 of them, and then get that sack late. It was huge.
I'll say Klotz with Muhammad. Like that's another guy. Like if you look at like the Jamal Adams and these guys that they bring in, he's in year 4, 5, 6. He's in year 7, and he's 29 years old. And like this was an opportunity for him to he's had a 6-sack season in Indy, but for him to come in and like be on a legit team with all these injuries and like change around his career a little bit, like give himself a second chance. And he's done it, and he's looked good doing it. And whether he shows up in the stat book or not, like he didn't have a ton of stats in the stat book, but if you just watch the game, like we kept saying his name. Like he's one of those guys to where fellas like with Hutch, you see all the pressures, and last year everyone's like, you need to turn those into sacks because that's Aiden Hutchinson. Like he's supposed to be a 20 sack guy, 15 sack guy, like that's potentially breaking NFL records. Muhammad is a guy where it's like, dude, if you get 5 to 8 pressures a game for us, and you don't even get a sack, that's good because you're setting up DJ Reader, you're setting up Aleem, you're setting up Za'Darius, you're setting up Trevor Nowatzki, like the backers that are coming in. So like if you just get that pressure, man, like that's everything. Dude, he could go 0 sacks the rest of the year as long as he's still getting pressure and creating just havoc in there. I'm all in on him. I'm all in on, and that's like you still have Levi O gets healthy, Josh Pascal gets healthy. You have a little rotation with those 3 essentially, or you throw some of it inside. Dude, I love it.
I will say from a dud from that game, I'm going to nominate this player.
Oh.
And I'm going to nominate this player. And I didn't think he had his best day at all in the second half. And that was Terran Arnold. Okay. Didn't have a great day in the second half. He was one of the lowest graded defenders on the Lions. One of the lowest. According to PFF. But if you watch that game, the second half, like every receiver on the Bears was eating. And I think his assignment, he was kind of bouncing around. It was DJ Reader.
Oh, I don't want to cut you off. Spencer, the barber, I completely forgot. Klotz made a deal with him that if Michigan somehow I just remembered that Klotz has to get a block M in the back of his head. I'm so sorry.
Klotz, why do you keep doing these?
That was we were all there that day, and I got my hair cut last weekend, and Spencer said, "Don't let Klotzy forget."
Oh my gosh! Me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Why? I just shaved my head. Eventually, had to shave my head because I bet on Michigan to win and beat TCU, and they didn't. And actually, I had to get it cut. Terribly.
Oh, dude, Jeff, I'm so sorry to cut you off. That was like breaking news,
this is important news.
I'm so sorry.
You know what? Fuck the studs and duds. We're getting to this before he joins.
You have to grow your hair out a little bit in the next couple weeks.
No, I was gonna get cut this weekend, so I'll just go up there for it.
Klotz,
I needed one this weekend.
That's unbelievable.
Klotz.
And he said he's got a big. I literally just got my haircut from him last week, and he said he's going to do a big M on the back. And he
didn't.
Oh, he was like,
why? It's just the off chance. You should just.
I forgot all about that.
Say no. Just say no, Klotz.
No, you have to do it.
This one is my hair will grow back. My hair will grow back.
No, not this. I'm just saying next time someone asks you to do something, if the Ohio State loses.
I think Klotz brought it up. I think Klotz was the one. Yeah,
no.
The conversation,
you initiated it.
I think the conversation I had with Spencer that Klotz was so confident that he was like, "There's no way Michigan does it. Like you put a block M in my head if it happens." Like it was like one of those deals.
I don't think that's the way it went, but either way,
that's what I heard.
Either way, I mean, I'll do it.
I think Klotz was just very confident. I mean, they were 20-point favorites.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. And this was at the beginning of the year when they spent $20 million. They got Caleb Downs. They got Quinshawn. Like they had everything. Anything that Ryan Day could possibly have wanted, he got.
Spencer, it's getting done. There's no gentleman's bet. A bet's a bet.
He's giving you the way out.
Like this. Do it where it's like long enough where I can cover it up with like a hat when I'm out. Like, well, I just don't want to be at work with a fucking block on my head.
It has to be. It can't be a small. It has to be a. I'll say this. It has to be a good size. But I will. I think that's fair. But like a little higher up, maybe a little higher up.
Yeah.
It still has to be a good size.
I'll be a man of my word. I'll be up there. We got the Thursday night game. I'll be up there because I don't work Friday.
Friday, we're going. I'll go with you. We'll all wake up Friday and we'll head over to.
Klotzy. He's just. I feel bad. It's like I'm seeing my brother struggle. You know what I mean? It's a tough.
It'll be good for content too.
Oh, that's
why I was. Hey, we can't do the gentleman's bet. It has to be.
Yeah, it'll. We
look at Spencer's skin all the way around and all that's.
Oh, that's good.
he's got the straight blade. Because dude, he'd probably spend like 4 or 5 hours on it just laughing. Like he'd love it. Like he would block out his whole day just to be able to do that.
Spencer's
dude.
It'd be probably the best cut he's ever given of his fucking life, and he'd make
he would lock in. Yeah,
Klotz, you have made some tough Michigan bets.
This is what Ryan Day does, dude.
Yeah.
He's a stupid, incoherent fuck. Like I said it on that reaction that I did, but like honestly, my 8-year-old nephew who plays Madden on rookie mode could have beat that Michigan team. All you had to do is hit Hail Mary every fucking play. You were gonna beat him on the outside, 1-on-1 every play, and you refused to do it. It's third down.
Team has no heart.
Halfback draw. It's the same thing as last year.
No heart.
Except running the ball worked, and they kept throwing the ball with Kyle McCord. And then that little it comes full circle after the Syracuse game when they beat Cam Ward. Dude, I was ready to kill somebody.
Let's bring in Dusty, man. This man. Let's get into some more pods. Hey, we're good, Klotz. Hey, Ohio State takes that out.
That's tough. That came out of nowhere. I know Klotz's heart dropped after seeing that. He was like, oh, no.
Yeah, he didn't like seeing hey, you said you'd shave your head. Don't do that. All right, let's bring in our good friend here. Dusty Evely, he's joined the show plenty of times, does just great work, man. And I love beat writers from other cities, other places that are willing to talk sports with us. Come over to the Detroit sports market. He does football film stuff for a lot of different places. Pack-A-Day podcast, Colts Wire. I mean, he's all over the place. Please welcome to the show. And as always, brought to you guys by BetUS, Dusty Evely. Dusty, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah.
Oh, you're muted.
Right there. I am sorry.
There we go.
I thought I was a pro here, man. What's going on? No, I'm sorry. Thanks for having me on. I'm sorry for cutting off the Ryan Day stuff. As a long time Ryan Day hater, I was really enjoying what was happening before I came on. So, I'm sorry to cut you off there, man.
I'm an Ohio State fan. I've been a Ryan Day hater for 3 seasons. So this is just agonizing. And there's still a chance that they'll bring him back.
Yeah. Listen, I'm grew up as a Florida Gators fan, graduated from UK. So firmly in SEC country. Neither of those programs have been great lately. So hearing someone else rail on their coach gives me a break from railing on mine. So I appreciate it. I appreciate your sacrifice.
There we go.
Hey, didn't even know it, Klotz. You're helping Dusty through his time. That's a teammate. That's a teammate right there. Dusty, every time we talk to you, it's like different. It's like it's this roller coaster. Like at one point, we're talking Lions, Packers in Green Bay, and we're like, chest a little pumped out. We're like, it's gonna be a good one, huh? This week, I'm not gonna lie to you, Dusty. We're in a tough spot. All right, a lot of injuries. Packers look fucking good. Packers look really good right now. I want your kind of early thoughts. We'll just stick with the Lions first. The injuries that have occurred, a banged up Lions team, squeaking by the Bears. What have you kind of made of the Lions this past week? The Matt Eberflus stuff. In that game. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
I'm so sad, dude. I wanted them to extend Eberflus. Like I wanted so bad. I want nothing more than Eberflus to be in the division for like another 10 years. Just insane. Honestly, like the writing was been on the wall for Eberflus for a while. There was the whole after the weird Tyreek Stevenson Hail Mary thing. They were like, oh yeah, the entire week he showed that every day. He showed the Hail Mary every day. Like, okay, this guy sucks as a coach. That was one. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole game. I was prepping Thanksgiving dinner stuff. I've gone back and watched some of it. I saw the end of it. I had a hearty laugh at that. Seemed like the Lions were going to run away with that, and then they kind of didn't. They stalled a little. Now, to be fair, the Bears have been playing better the past few weeks. I think Thomas Davis. They gave the Packers all they could handle. It was a blocked field goal that gave the Packers the win against the Bears there. But that's been a better team since Thomas Davis took over. The defense has been good most of the year. Offense, they finally hey, let's let Caleb do things that Caleb does well. So division games are always weird. I didn't think that was an indictment of the Lions so much as it was. I think the Bears were starting to come on a little bit. They're figuring some stuff out. Obviously, their coach is still kind of not the smartest man in the world. And so he kind of killed them a bit. Caleb didn't do himself any favors at the end there, but I didn't think that was anything like, oh, the Lions are failing a little bit. I do think the Bears are starting to come up. That being said, against the Packers this week, and I will remind you guys, or remind anyone who listened to the last time as well, I picked the Lions to win last time.
You did.
So I'm not like an out and out homer for this stuff. What the Packers are doing in the run game right now, just putting linebackers in absolute hell, to me, that's the key thing. Like, I don't know if that bodes well for the Lions with that linebacker situation right now. Like that seems like the big deal. Defense for the Packers coming together a little bit lately. I think Halfley's kind of got those guys humming. Got Quay Walker finally like not playing terrible for the past 2 weeks. I mean, McKinney's been incredible all year. The front's starting to look a little better. They traded Preston Smith away. I think Preston was still there last time we played the Lions. Maybe they just traded him at that point. Okay. Yeah, so they traded him, which means more time for LVN, who's still not great, but Gary's starting to come on. I think his pressure rate's finally starting to inch up a little bit, even if the sacks aren't there. We're seeing some stuff out of Slayton. Kenny Clark had a really good game this past week. So I think the defense is starting to get healthy a bit. I know Clark had a toe issue earlier in the year, the last time they played the Lions. Yeah. Defense starting to come on a little bit. Offense has found their footing. They finally got, man, because I know when we talked the last time, that was Love's first or second game. No, they thought it was going to be Willis, perhaps, because that was after the Jags game, right? Yep. Yeah. So it's kind of this, if he plays, I thought the Packers might win with Willis, lose with Love. What the Packers are doing now offensively, it's really interesting. It's all the really cool single wing spinner run game stuff that they were doing with Willis that they couldn't do with Love because his knee was all jacked up, and now he's healthy, and that offense is humming, dude. It's all of the stuff, all the run game stuff that you get to with Willis, and then with Love just operating more efficiently over the past 2 games we've seen him so far this season, will also just absolutely chucking 3 to 4 times a game. So it's been a fun way to watch this team. I think this team's. I'm still terrified. Not terrified. I don't get terrified. I'm still worried about the Lions, but I do think the state of both these teams, I think the Packers are in a much better place this time around than they were the last time around. And the Packers kind of had a shot the last time around by the end of that. So I think this should be a good one. I'm really excited about this game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game. I honestly, Dusty, I think hopefully it's a high-scoring game and we just see points, and it's just that's the type of game I'm expecting. One thing with it being a Thursday night game, though, like today and Monday, we're a couple days out already with injuries and all of that. Is there any injuries on the Packers side? I just looked at the injury report today. It's pretty long, but there's a lot of it looks like just limited practice guys like Jahmyr. I saw Edger Cooper did not practice. Elton Jenkins. Is there anything like on the Packers side of players that potentially won't play or like are on the border that could be or could at least affect this game a little bit?
So Cooper's been out. He missed last week as well. I think he got injured the previous week, and then it was a short week, so he missed last week, which I was really worried about. And then Quay started coming on. Quay had a really good game this past week as well with that. The thing Cooper gave you, I mean, he's a rookie, and so there's going to be some flubs there, but that athleticism just off the charts. We're starting to see some of the stuff out of Quay. So I think Edge Cooper, I'd be shocked if he goes to this point. Dobbs is another one I'm paying attention to because he got a concussion a couple weeks ago. He obviously did not play against this past Thursday because he got the concussion on Sunday. Looks like he was limited participant. So that concussion stuff's always weird in terms of how they list that. I don't believe he is like he's a limited participant, but I think he's on the side. I don't think he has cleared protocol yet. So he's worth keeping an eye on. Now, when he was out, they had Wicks in there basically doing everything Dobbs was doing. And he had a really bad drop this past week against the Dolphins that could have been picked. It was over in the middle and the sucker just popped straight up in the air. But after that, he was fine. And so if Dobbs can't go, it's going to be Wicks, who has suspect hands. But other than that, I think is a better athlete than Dobbs. So we'll get some of that. McDuffie, they didn't know if McDuffie was going to go last week against the Dolphins, and then he was a starter and just played maybe his best game as a Green Bay Packer. So that was pretty cool. And then nothing else really shown up. Again, I mean, I think Edge Cooper, Jair's been out for 3 weeks now. I think this will be the 4th week if he misses the Lions game. He showed up at practice, and so that's a good sign. I think those are the 2 guys really keep an eye on is Jair and Dobbs. And right now, Jahmyr limited participant, and he had not been able to go the past 3 weeks. Cooper, I think, is going to be out. Corey Ballantyne got injured, who was like CB 3 or 4 at this point with Jahmyr being out. Big special teams guy, but without him, Robert Rochelle came in, and Robert Rochelle recovered the fumble on the kickoff, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So Ballantyne's not a huge loss, but the 2 big guys are going to be, I guess 3, is going to be Jahmyr and Dobbs and Cooper. And I don't think Cooper's going to go. I'm thinking Dobbs probably isn't going to, but I'm kind of optimistic about Jahmyr at this point.
Something I kind of wanted to pick your mind on a little bit, Dusty, just from another fan's perspective. I don't know if you saw it, but Tucker Kraft, who I actually have a lot of respect for based on the way he's playing this year, talking about Kirby Joseph. He's saying he's taking some of my brothers out of this game, and I think about that too. So if I get a chance to get my hands on him, playing football. And that's obviously going back to Kerby Joseph history being a quote-unquote dirty player, which I just think is cut tackling. If you watched him, he's done that his whole career, and he's an undersized safety as it is, so he's got to go low. But what is Packers fans, obviously, perspective of Kerby Joseph, and then your thoughts on the Tucker Kraft's comments?
Man, I don't know if I don't really pay attention to it at all. I've never really thought of Kerby Joseph as a dirty player. There are certainly players I have watched where I'm like, well, that's a dirty player. If they rack up enough of that stuff. Kerby Joseph never struck me as that kind of dude. I don't like him because he's a good player in a rival team. That's about the extent of what I don't like about Kerby Joseph is that he's good and he doesn't play for my team, and that makes me upset. But I personally have never thought about him as a dirty player. Tucker Kraft. I love Tucker Kraft. He's just I think we talked about this past. He's a big dumb tight end, man. His thing is always like he doesn't like getting tackled in space by DBs, and he takes it personal if he gets tackled in space by a DB. And so I think he has a healthy dislike of anyone in the secondary, and will find reasons to just like, if I can get my hands on you, I'll destroy you. I think that's something he's saying, and he's said before. I think earlier this year that he wants to burn down the childhood homes of the people he's playing against. Like, he's just that kind of dude. Like, he is. I love watching him on the field. Puts everything he has on a blocker. Again, he's like in the Kittle mode of like, there's one or two screw looses in there, which is what I want in my tight end. He's trying to hit you. He's trying to block. He's not a dirty player. He does this all clean, but he takes it personally when someone takes him on for a block. Like, that's how he views it. And when he talks, I think that comes through. I honestly, just personally, I don't think he believes Kerby Joseph is a dirty player. I think this is something he tells himself for when he gets up to the second level to block Kerby Joseph. Like, I think that's just the way this dude operates.
So we're not talking. There's no bounty gate going on over there in Green Bay with Kerby, right? I just want to confirm.
No, listen.
I was like, we might have a bounty.
They're not. He's not getting any money for this. This is just going to be for Tucker Kraft's own personal happiness if he does anything. Yeah.
So basically, he's a psychopath, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, he doesn't start fights. He's not like a bad person. He's not a bad player. He's just a tight end. He's a lunatic. Like, that's the way this goes.
He's a football player. A lot of crazy football players, man.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I do want to ask. This division is insane. You have 3 teams that are going to win 10 plus games. You know what? And it's just. You guys won't just leave us alone. I mean, the Packers and the Vikings, the Lions are finally – there's this amazing team. They're smacking teams around. And it's like, oh, yeah, here are the Vikings, which are probably going to win, 12 games. Oh, here's the Packers that are probably going to win 12, 13 games. What do you make of this division and kind of the race now coming down the stretch? Because I'm going to be honest, Dusty, I've been studying schedules now. I'm at that point. But before, I'm like chilling. I'm like, Lions seem to be in control. Now I'm like, fuck, who do the Packers play? Who do the Vikings play? Who do the Lions play? What do you make of this NFC North?
Yeah, it's tough, dude. I mean, I kind of thought I've not looked at the Vikings schedule. I should probably pull that up here. I mean, I'm kind of right now. I'm fully in the. I had a hope, dude, and we'll see because the Vikings. So Vikings are frauds, right? Like, not frauds, frauds, but like they've gotten super duper. Like, I've never disliked the Cardinals more than I have this past weekend. I was like, just win. Like, why are you letting them hang around? Just win. You have this game in hand. I mean, I kind of think the Packers running third. Who they got left? They've got Lions, Seahawks. Seahawks have been weird, but they've got something to play for. Saints, who are bad, Vikings, and Bears. And they're playing the Bears week 18. Like, they're not getting anything to play for. Who the Vikings have? Falcons, Bears, Seahawks, Packers, Lions. I mean, that's the thing, that everyone still has to play each other. Yeah. I think this probably shakes out. I wouldn't be shocked if the Packers end up second. If the Vikings lose to I don't know, man. Like, the Falcons are up and down. They're not a good team, but like, they can beat the Falcons. And the Seahawks, if the Vikings drop 2, I think the Packers could potentially win out. I think they've got another maybe 1 loss in them looking at the schedule here. But I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if the Packers take 2. I don't think anyone's overtaken the Lions at this point. But I've been kind of right now locked into they're going to end up third, and in the wild card is kind of my thought, which is just insane. I think I saw this stat. I didn't look this up. Packers have 3 losses, and I think the combined record of the teams that beat them is something like 28-3, 28-4, something like that. Like, just absolutely preposterous. Because the Packers have lost so far to the Lions, the Eagles, and the Vikings. Like, those are the only 3 losses, and they lost to the Eagles in that weird Sao Paulo game at the beginning of the season. And they've been within 1 score of each of them, like, in those losses. So it's, or no, two scores against the Lions. They lost 10 to the Lions. I think Packers finished third, getting the wild card. The 7, I guess, from the looks of it.
Yep.
Hey, Dusty, you mentioned Jordan Love, and well, really, you mentioned the offense has been kind of coming on as of late recently. I just want to get your thoughts on Jordan Love, because last year there was a situation, obviously, he struggled to start, and then just play like the second half of the season in the playoffs, Jordan Love took off, and then got his contract. And then this year, I wouldn't say really struggled, but he had a lot of games. I think it was like 8 straight games with an interception. And then recently he has just been playing at a very good level with the offense. Do you think this is something like maybe not a concern, but just looking at Jordan Love, like consistency a little bit more so as a starting quarterback? Is that something that Packers fans are looking at a little bit, or is it just, hey, as long as you're playing good down the stretch and in the playoffs, we're fine with that? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of fans still don't know what to make of him. And part of that is, he's coming off of Aaron Rodgers, who just famously just did not throw interceptions. So the fact that someone's throwing more than 5 interceptions in a season is like, well, that's not supposed to happen. That's just because Rodgers was just simply did not want to throw interceptions and just decided he wasn't going to throw anymore. So I think there's some of that. I mean, Love, certainly people expected big things out of him at the beginning of the season, from the beginning. And it's been weird for him, because he had the game in Sao Paulo, which was rainy. He threw two picks. I think just one pick in that game. And that was one, I went through this somewhat recently, looked at all of his interceptions. That was one where he thought Musgrave was going to bend to be a little more aggressive for the ball, and he wasn't, and the safety drove on it. And it's a weird field. It was kind of sloppy field and everything. And then he just wasn't healthy after that. He missed the next 2 games. Willis played. And then when he came back, he couldn't move like he wanted to. Once I think the trigger was a little quicker than he wanted to be. I think we saw him throw into predetermined reads more than he had before, just simply because if the ball wasn't out when it needed to be out, he couldn't really move to do much. And so I am curious. I mean, I think there's always going to be, and I don't think it's all Love. I think some of it is a function of the offense. Some of the way the Packers play offense, especially as the season has gone on, it is more like 1970s football, where we're going to run, and then we're running verts, dude. Like, we're nothing within. We got one check down. Everything else is like targets 20 yards down the field on 2nd and 7. So it is, a lot of it is kind of playing up into, I think, what probably he wants to do and how they want to operate, which is just, we're running and then it's bombs away is kind of how we want to operate. And there's always going to be like high variability with that, I think. So I think that's part of it. But we also, again, did see one of the things I really liked with Love, even when things were weird during the beginning part of last season, his decision-making was good. His pre-snap process was good. Post-snap process, his feet were incredible. Like, if you watch his footwork, not necessarily when throwing, but like when going through his reads, he was always in the position to throw. And he had that to some extent this year. But some of the decision-making, again, I think with the injury was just, it was not quite there. The footwork was a little slower. The eyes were where they needed to be, but the feet were not. And so that was a problem. And I think that was just, he had the knee issue. And he had he pulled his groin, and he just wasn't physically where he needed to be to do that stuff. But even then, like, I think the eyes were going to the right place, even if he felt like he had to operate a little quicker than maybe he needed to. I think that led to some problems. There's also been, some of his completion percentage stuff has not been great. He has had the most drop passes by percentage in the league this year, and I think it's not particularly close. Dontavian Wicks, who we all thought was going to be like the breakout guy this year, who by every metric is a guy who is more open than any receiver in the NFL. Like, all the dude does is get open. He's dropped like 27% of his passes this year. Dobbs was dropping passes. Reed's dropping passes. Watson dropped a wide open one, and it's the only drop of Watson's season. He was the dude that dropped everything the previous year. So they've just had it's part of. So I guess when I think about Love, I think part of it is variability in the offense in terms of how they want to operate. But when they're asking him to do intermediate quick game stuff, if you watch his eyes, you watch his feet, you watch how he's operate, for the most part, like, all those reads are right. He's moving off stuff. The feet are transitioning from like a 3-step drop to a 5, to a 3, to a 5, to a 7, like as well as you want them to go. Balls out on time. Still, some of the intermediate accuracy is a little off. So I do think with him, some of the accuracy, I don't think is ever fully going to be there. Deep ball's better this year than it was last year for sure. But for the short and intermediate stuff, he's always going to leave stuff a little inside. Some stuff's going to be a little high. Like, that's just kind of baked into his game at this point, I think. But I do think we didn't see the Love everyone thought we were going to see, because he simply had not been healthy. And the one healthy game he had played up until 2 weeks ago was on a sloppy field. So I think you factor all that stuff in. I think he is going to be, I think he is this season. I think what we're seeing now is probably what we expected of him. A solid quarterback. Maybe he's never going to be, top 5 in terms of like efficiency metrics, but he's going to get you yards. Like he's going to be chucking. He's going to give his guys chances. But I do think that carries a little bit of inconsistency with that. And again, some of that is on him, and some of that's just on, I think, how they want this offense to go, partially because of him as well.
And you did a great job breaking that down, by the way.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. That was great.
Talking about the Packers playmakers, kind of flipping over the Lions playmakers now, and more specifically the running back duo. And again, kind of interested on your perspective as a Packers fan, looking at it on paper, which running back makes Packers, like, do you think gives Packers coaches, personnel, fans the most like nightmares at night when you look at David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs? Because both of them are terrific running backs, but they possess different things. In Detroit, we call them Sonic and Knuckles. I'm sure you guys have heard plenty about that by now. But which running back causes the most fear for Packers?
I think it's got to be David Montgomery. I mean, that's the dude that like Gibbs will get you for those big gains. And I don't want to reduce it to like Gibbs is only going to get you those big gains because dude is like a legit running back. It's just you get some boom or bust with him in a way you don't with Montgomery. And Montgomery, like, man, I don't know. You guys watch him way more than I do. The first guy never brings that guy down. Josh Jacobs has been incredible this year for the Packers, and I feel like that's what I see out of Montgomery. When I watch Montgomery, it's like, oh, it's Josh Jacobs. Just slightly younger. Like, and that was the book on him in college too. Like, he never got tackled.
Impossible to tackle.
It's not even like he's a big dude, but he's not the biggest dude. His contact balance is just insane. So I think for me, just from a game perspective, I think it's Montgomery because if Gibbs busts off like a 25-yard run, a 60-yard touchdown run, that's the cost of doing business sometimes. Like that Gibbs is like, okay, that's fine. We'll come back and get him. But if you're just getting bludgeoned for 5 to 7 yards every single time Montgomery hits it, and then you get to the fourth quarter, and you're like, we got it. Penny Sewell's pulling, and we got Dave Montgomery, who we haven't been able to bring down on first contact all game. Like, I don't want any part of this. When you're trying to like win a game at the end, we need a stop here. It's 3rd and 4. Can we get a stop? No, we can't. We cannot get a stop because it's David Montgomery and it's the Lions offensive line. So I think Gibbs is certainly the flashier player. But in terms of how you want to defend, how you operate as a defense, I want no part of David Montgomery. When he was with the Bears, I was like that I wanted him in Green Bay, and I was like, I don't like that he's with the Bears. Maybe he will go to another team, and then he went to the better team in the division, which I personally was unhappy about.
I love it. Hey, as always, Dusty, you bring great insight, my friend. Keep up the great work. Honestly, one of the best writers we ever have on the show. Dude breaks the game down so effortlessly. So we appreciate you for that. You guys can follow Dusty at Dusty Evolete. What's up, Boone?
Did we get a score prediction already? Can we get a score?
Hey,
he's been spot on. I'm interested.
We almost got him off the hot
seat. I want to know.
You're right, Boone. You're right.
I wish I wrote down last time. I know I picked the Lions to win last time. I don't remember what I predicted the score.
You were close.
I'm going Packers next. I'm going Packers this week. I really like, and I think the key for me comes down linebackers. I think again, what the Packers have been doing with the linebackers and their running, and then the play action game off of that, just putting them in hell. And the Lions are a really well coached team defensively, but they're just down a lot of dudes right now, and I think that's going to hurt them in this one. And they've been playing with fire past couple of weeks, so I'm going to go. Packers been scoring, dude. Let's go 31-24 Packers.
There you go. Hey.
Got him by 7.
People who are hearing this, like, of course he'll pick the Lions last time.
I picked the Lions, and you guys told me it was going to be reverse jinx, and I was like, I hope so, but I don't think so.
Maybe this time. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe this time.
All right, Dusty, we appreciate you, my friend.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. Dusty Evolete joining the fellas. And as always, brought to you guys by Bet US. And I appreciate the honesty from Dusty. He'll tell you straight. He's. We've had a couple. We have 2 Packers beat writers on. We've had Tom on, which we want to get back on. Like, Tom's the man. But I think we had Peter on. You could tell Peter's got some bias for sure. Yeah. Like Peter was like, yeah. What he said something about like Jahmyr Gibbs or something. He was going off golf. He basically civilian. I mean, that's what I've been reading every time I hear Peter talking about anything. Love Peter, but yeah, he pisses Lions fans off a lot more than Dusty for sure. Peter.
I thought, Peter on Twitter too is
he talks shit on Twitter.
Oh, dude, more than that. I mean, that man on Twitter he's great though. He does his job at a high level. Dusty is just honest though. That's what I love.
The pro, yeah.
And Grassi's honest as well too. He'll tell you how it is too. So I respect that.
Hey, I will say, guys, like this Packers game, I'm a little concerned. I'm a little concerned. I don't know. I get all year we've been kind of riding this Lions high of like they will beat anyone in front of them. And remember when we talked about dropping a game potentially, and I mentioned 2 games, and I said one of them will be a divisional game. This is that divisional game. It feels like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, hey, we'll get to score predictions later in the week. But if they were going to drop a game, it's, man, the scheduling has been so brutal. It's been so brutal. You play Sunday, you play Thursday. Oh, yeah, you play next Thursday. So you have a short week again. And the defense is so banged up. It's unbelievably banged up. And, guys, sometimes it's not about who you play. It's when you play them.
Yep.
And the Lions right now are wounded. They're at home, which is the good news. But the Packers, they're buzzing. I mean, they are. I picked the Dolphins last Thursday. Boy, not only was I
that
wrong,
was shocking, by the way.
Well, you
did that. I tried to explain to you the weather.
But boy, not even I was wrong. I was like wrong. Like this wasn't like touchdown game. It was a complete ass whooping at Lambeau. It is at Ford Field. It is indoors. But fellas, what's the feeling? I mean, we're Monday. We're early in the week here. Like overreaction Monday. This is what we do. What's the feeling on the Packers here, facing the Packers?
Listen, they've won 7 of their last 8 games, and the one loss they have in their last 8 games is the Detroit Lions. So, like, they would, if it wasn't for the Detroit Lions, they would have 8 straight wins right now. They are coming for like vengeance after that last game. And the biggest thing with the last game, guys, it was in Lambeau, and you guys know me, and I'm gonna keep it just real with you guys here. I'm one of the bigger Lions slappies. Like I drink all of that. I'm one of the bigger ones. I will be honest. This is one of those games where I said last week I felt like that Bears game, the Lions weren't going to cover. It was going to be close. It's going to be a battle. When you get in these divisional games, guys, like the Lions, yeah, they're the best team in football. I still have them as number 1. And you have the Eagles there. You have the Chiefs. You have some teams up there with them. And then the Bills, can't leave them out. But this Lions team, guys, like, they could beat any football team, but when you go through what you just did with Chicago, you lose multiple more players and you're adding new players. There's a world, guys, where the Lions win this game. And AG finds a way he's been doing it all year, scheming up, win. So I don't think I think the spread 3.5 points, perfect. That's perfect. You know what that means, though? This is a battle. This isn't going to be a 30-point Lions win. Lions are going to go out there and score 50 and win by 30. Like, that's not going to happen. Welcome to being the best team in the NFL. There are going to be games that are battles. Like, you are going to be in wars. Like, these teams, you have a target on your back now. They are going to give you everything that they have. Everything. And we're talking about probably, you can argue, the second or third best team in the NFL right now, the hottest team, 7 of the last 8 games. The last game was in terrible weather, in the snow. It's a crippled Detroit Lions team, as Woody Ward in the chat just said. It is going to be a battle. Like, hey, in the chat, Ford Field Thursday, throw your armor on, grab your swords, and get ready for battle, fellas, because we are about to go head-to-head with the Packers. And listen, if the Lions drop the game, Jeff, you said it a million times, like you thought they have 1 or 2 losses left in them, and they're going to win about 14, 15 games. This is like one of those games. You're going to probably have 2 or 3 more battles this year. It's going to be the Packers, probably the Vikings, and then the Bills. Like those 3 games, those are going to be battles. And you have to come out of those games. I'll say it. You have to come out of those games 2-1 to get the 1 seed and win the division. And that's what it is. So if you drop this game, it's not that big of a deal, but you still have to then turn around and beat Buffalo. You have to turn around and beat the Vikings because you still have to find a way to win the division. So this is a big game. This game means a lot too when it comes down to divisional and comes to the 1 seed. It means a lot.
Yeah, and it's coming at the worst point for the Detroit Lions. And I'm trying to it's not because I do have hope. I do have hope. Like I'm not saying, Lions lose. But last week, seeing how the Bears really kind of carved up that Lions secondary, it does give me great concern because I think Josh Jacobs will have some success. But I think the strength of the Lions defense is stopping the run. So that's why I do have hope. But I have engraved Jordan Love last year in Ford Field. He just started carving up. And with the injuries they have that front 7, I don't know if getting to him is the thing that they're going to be banking on because I think just him, like Dusty was kind of talking about, he's really starting to get comfortable. The thing that does give me hope about the whole defensive situation is That boy Brian Branch, he got ejected. That defense remembers what happens. I know there's no Anzo. I know there's no Aiden Hutchinson. I know there's no Carlton Davis potentially, or he might be back, but we'll see what's going on with that whole situation. A lot of injuries. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, they know how to get a hold of the Packers and cause some damage. So I think offensively, they're going to be fine. I'm not worried about the Packers defense. They'll have their way, but it's going to come down to Jordan Love and that secondary, in my opinion, because of Josh Jacobs, he can do what he wants as far as the run. The line's going to be able to keep up. But if Jordan Love starts cooking, that's where it gives me some concern. This is when he got hot last year, coming off a bye. They are coming off the short week as well, but the Detroit Lions are so banged up. So like Booner said, it's going to be a battle, and I would not be surprised if there was an L in Ford Field this Sunday. Or Thursday. Not tomorrow.
No. Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday, yeah.
Sure.
Can I pull this up real quick? Hold on.
Go ahead.
Can you click share?
Yep.
So like this is what's on the line on Thursday essentially. The Lions win, and this is let me credit who this is. Lions Royalty on Twitter. He did a great job. Whoever runs that account does a great job. Lions win, you have an 84% chance of getting the 1 seed and a 96% chance of winning the division. Like you almost lock up the division with the win on Thursday. You know, like this is almost like a divisional championship game, essentially. Like that's how big this is. And if you lose, look at like the 1 seed. You drop from 84% to 39% with the loss. So like, as much as they are beat up in injuries, Dan said it like the last few, there is no excuses. Like if you want the 1 seed, every week matters. Like you are in a battle. And it sucks because these teams are like the Packers and the Vikings are sticking with you. And you're like, dude, just leave us alone. And the Eagles just like, let us have one. And I mean, you just have to lock in and win, even with injuries. You can't use this as an excuse.
No, you can't. You just can't. In the analytics, I see Coach says those analytics don't mean shit.
Well, they do, like technically, like percentage-wise, like when you're looking at how many games are left in the season, how many games back, how many,
look at it as like it is a reference. It's certainly a reference. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, if you win this game, yeah, the division. I mean, you have the Packers, the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to drop another game or two. So if they beat the Packers here, you sweep the Packers. Packers have what now? 4 losses. They have 4. So you have 1. Like, yeah, you'll have the division pretty much comfortably won.
Just the Vikings.
Yeah, the 1 seed you still got to battle because the Eagles' schedule is a cakewalk. I don't know if you guys saw the Eagles' schedule. It's so bad. They play the Giants still at the end of the year. Like they have a weak schedule. They play
Panthers.
Yeah, they have the Commanders, but that's the only like tough game. They play
Steelers.
Okay, Steelers. That's fine. That's a good one.
Yeah,
but
Bears,
like,
I saw those Bears this weekend, Jeff.
Yeah, they got a pulse. They do. They congrats, guys.
Didn't stand a chance.
But yeah, besides, okay, sorry. I didn't know they played the Steelers. That's actually my fault. I only saw the Commanders. So make it a little better. But regardless, the Lions still have the Packers, the Vikings, the Bills, the 49ers. Like they have the tougher schedule. So and they're injured. I mean, they're injury riddled all over the place. So it'll be a tough one. The only thing, I mean, at least it's at Ford Field. That's the good news. And I wonder if Dan like shows them what's at stake. Like if you win this game, the division is yours. All right, we got to win this game here.
Yeah.
Even if Jamal Adams has to show up and play some snaps right away, something.
I think the formula, like looking at it, like for Dan, like you go into that room this week, one thing he talks about all the time is playing like all 3 phases of the game. You walk into your offensive room this week, you put up that picture of all those players on defense on the IR, and you look Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, and those weapons in the eyes in the offensive line, and this is on you this week. The defense has helped us out different weeks. In the Houston game, the defense stepped up. This game, it's your guys' turn to step up this week. Like this is your week. Like offensively, you have to go out and score 40 points on them. Don't care. Like their offense, like with all these injuries, and you've seen how they've been putting up 30 points a game the last 3 or 4 weeks. You had like, all right, you guys want to score 30? We're going to score 31. You want to score 36? We're going to put up 48 on you. Like I that's where I'm like, I think the Lions win this game still, is because if they go in with the good offensive game plan, like you guys just want to be real, this is the best offense in the NFL. Like you could have your defense beat up all you want. You're at home with all these weapons you have and the offensive line. they still have to stop you at the end of the day. Like, you have the best offense in the NFL. They do not. So, like, they have to keep up with you at the end of the day. That's how I look at this the Thursday game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like, are you more confident in the Lions scoring 40 or the Bear or the Packers defense holding them under 30? I'm more confident in them scoring 40 plus, to be honest.
It's going to have to be on the offense. I do agree with that, and I have confidence that the offense can score points. But the thing I look at is the Packers, and they have the personnel. They just on defense, and they've been playing better. But you still watch that game, even against the Dolphins. I know the Dolphins are kind of that team you look at and they're like, they play well in heat. Tua still was kind of nickel and diming them. Like, he was still kind of dotting them up a little bit. They weren't scoring, but they kind of had their way a little bit in the pass game. So it's not like the Packers are this like unbeatable team either. Like, defensively, they got some holes, but it's really the offense. Like, I am with you there, Boone. Like, if the offense can, you get Taylor Decker back. Yeah. So at least there's that.
I mean, in the snow,
real quick, Jamo was out. Jamo was suspended.
Yeah, he did not play. And think about it. They scored 24 points with no Jamo, and you're in the snow and the rain. Like, it was terrible conditions. Remember, it was raining the whole time, and they went out and scored 24 points on this defense. And there's potentially no Jair Alexander. Like, they still have players like Dusty said. There are a couple guys that are out defensively potentially, and there have been guys that stepped up, but like. Again, I've asked you guys this questions the last couple of weeks at the Lions, like they're averaging 30-something points, and before last week there was like a 6-week span where they're scoring 40 points a week. Like, what is there a defense in the NFL that you're confident that can just completely shut down this Lions offense? No. And then like the Packers, like if I had to list the teams, like they're not like one of the top 3. I'm not putting them as one of those top ones. Like, if you're looking at like how do the Lions win this game, like they're still a 3.5 point favorite. Offensively, they should go out there and put 30 plus on this team. And like now you're putting pressure on this Packers and Jordan Love. Like, hey, you guys have to score 30 to beat us, and that's hard in the NFL to do against any team. And the Lions have done it with ease.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys watch the Eagles-Ravens game?
Yeah, I know the Eagles won, but I was satisfied to see that the Baltimore Ravens were what I thought they were.
Yeah. Justin Tucker, I don't know what happened. I just forgot how to kick, I guess. I don't know.
Did you see all the memes where they talk about when like Kelsey was messing with him pregame last year in the playoffs and it just shook him to his core?
Yeah, he's never been the same. Never been the same since. But the Eagles, I will say, and that's going to be, I know we're talking NFC North, but I'm just talking big picture, like in 1 seed, whatever. But I think the Eagles are going to be the team that you face in the NFC Championship. They look that Jalen Hurts for some reason he's not a big passing the ball. He didn't really have to do much. Like if you guys watch that game, I know they didn't have Devonta Smith, but it's like no Devonta Smith. They look completely different in the passing game. It's bad. Like AJ Brown had like 60 yards, but Saquon Barkley right now they might have a top 3 MVP candidate right now.
Saquon, this is like last year with Christian McCaffrey. Like I do think outside of Josh Allen. Yeah, I think it's just either Josh Allen or Saquon Barkley. That's the MVP. Like Josh Allen made a good case yesterday in the snow, like going out there having a passing touchdown, a receiving, and a rushing touchdown. That's unbelievable, and blowing them out yesterday. But like I think if there's anyone with Josh Allen at this point, like after Lamar, like you can't win MVP losing as many games as you have. I think it's just like you either give it to Josh Allen or you go Saquon, and it's you could pick your poison at that point. Like whoever finishes the season the best.
If he gets 2,000 yards, 2,000+ scrimmage yards, and they're the number 1 seed, he's got to win the MVP.
I am biased. They're not going to be the number 1 seed, but I am biased. Josh Allen.
I'm saying then he has a case, like for sure, for Saquon to win the MVP. I think he's Offensive Player of the Year.
Locked in.
For sure. I don't know, they might not give it to a running back. They might not give it to a running back. I don't know. It's probably I would have Josh Allen first.
Let's look at the odds real quick.
I'm curious where kind of Goff is with it all still. Like if he's probably top 5 right now, probably dropped a little bit because Saquon's rising. Because Lamar ain't MVP, that's over.
Listen, it's minus 280 for Josh Allen. Josh Allen's like big favorite. Right now. And then second, guess who number 2 is?
No,
Saquon Barkley plus 500.
So it's like it's a bit of distance there.
Yeah, so I mean, if you think Saquon, you could sprinkle a little bit on that, and then Lamar's plus 850. So
and then it goes right behind him.
It goes Mahomes plus 1,500 and tied with Jared Goff plus 1,500.
Oh, he's tied with Goff. Mahomes.
Yeah. So they're tied, but it's essentially a 2-man race right now. It's basically just Saquon and Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's going to win it because it is a quarterback award, as long as he just doesn't like completely fall apart.
You think Dan Campbell wins Coach of the Year? I see people talking about that earlier.
Listen,
he's in the race. We didn't think about it before the year. We didn't think he'd be.
No, but if you win 15 games,
yeah, we thought they'd be really good. But you know how they treat teams that are really good. It's like, okay, like they don't usually give it to a team that surprises everyone. You know what I mean, or does something.
If you win 15 games with the injuries that you've had, like if they win Thursday and then they like continue to keep winning and they have 14, 15 guys, like you have 11 defensive players on the IR and you go 15-2, that's you automatically, because what's the question? There's like, Klotz says it all the time, or like some people say it's like, what coach wins with like the least amount? Like, break it down. Like the Lions do have a lot of weapons and a lot of big time players, but if you break down the whole season, they've lost a lot of players. So he hasn't done it with a lot of guys. Like he's lost Aiden Hutchinson. Anzo's out. Like he has gone through it.
I'll say personally, I would have Tomlin in that race too, because that win over Cincinnati was insane. I don't know, like they just score 40 all of a sudden. I didn't expect that. Like, yeah, I'm serious.
Cincinnati. I don't know if Cincinnati's a bad football team. No, that was expected from me.
You thought Pittsburgh would score 40 plus?
Not 40, but I expected them to win by 10 points.
Russ had like 400 yards.
No, not the win. I picked
they did look good.
I picked the Steelers too, but I didn't think Russ would throw 450 yards past.
I think it was just more so the Bengals defense. Like people, they're just bad. Like they. Just
that's true. Game. But my point being is the Steelers. Tomlin's in there, and I'll even say I know the Broncos are winning. If the Broncos win 10, 11 games, I'd give it to Sean Payton personally. That would.
You got to pick one, Jeff.
Oh, that's my contingency. If the Broncos win 10, 11 games, you already know my vote's with him. If they fall off a cliff, then
if Mike Tomlin wins the AFC North, he should get in.
Now, what about this? Dan
Sean
Campbell goes
with a rookie quarterback.
Dan Campbell goes 15-2. Dan Campbell goes 15-2. Steelers win 12 games. Broncos win, let's say 11. Who are you giving it to? Like all the things that you just said happened, Jeff.
So 15-2.
If all three of those things that you said happen, like you were like Dan Campbell, if they do this, he should win it.
So you said 15-2 Lions, and then Tomlin wins the AFC North.
Yeah, like if all three of those things you just said all happen, because you were like, if this happens, I want to give it to this coach. If this happens, if all three happen, who are you choosing? If they all like end up doing,
and you said if the Broncos win, how many games?
I don't know, just whatever you think. Like what was the number that you said?
Yeah,
so 10 Broncos won 11.
So if all those things happen,
the Broncos.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's I would.
Shout out Sean Payton. Crunch time.
Just because of how much, dude. I'm gonna be honest. Like, Bo Nix, I don't know I don't get it. I don't know why he's playing really well, and the receiving core is like. You brought up a guy you put some bets on, Vele.
Vele, yeah.
Who is that? And Cortland Sutton's their number one, which he's fine.
Utah U wide receiver.
But they're doing it with like
Utah U.
I don't know.
The defense has been really good, but besides, like Patrick Surtain is incredible, but like I don't know a bunch of players on the Broncos defense like that. You know what I mean?
Their defense, the Broncos defense last year was like top 5.
Yeah, they're always solid, but
they were always good.
Job, like it's kind of. I thought Brian Dable should have won it when the year he won it. So that's kind of how my philosophy is with Coach of the Year. I look at like Dable, what he did with that Giants roster, I would give it to him. So
my only thing is when it comes down, like I would take Tomlin, and I think he does more with less. Just to go into that argument, if you want to use it to compare to Sean Payton, I think when you look at it, like the Steelers have won some big games. When you look at the Broncos' big games. Steelers, they lost. Then they play the Ravens, lost. Chiefs, lost. Chargers, lost. So a lot of the big games, if you want to consider the Bucs early on, can do that. But outside of that, the Broncos, again, not saying that they're not having a good year, but when you talk about who's more impressive, I think when you look at what Mike Tomlin has finally done with that offense, all they need to do is get a quarterback. That defense has been dealing with injuries. T.J. Watt was banged up beginning of the season. So I think Mike Tomlin, he deserves all the flowers. So he's always a guy that should be in the Coach of the Year discussion, but when you look at that division, I know it's not the NFC North, but with that roster going toe-to-toe with the Ravens, you walk out with the AFC North Championship, I got to give it to him.
I will say, though, even if I would still go Dan. I mean, the odds right now, Dan plus 120, And then there's a little bit of a gap. Mike Tomlin plus 400, Kevin O'Connell is plus 400, and Sean Payton's plus 550. So like Dan is like, I think the NFL and the media is looking at it right now where it's like, hey, if the Lions go 15-2, 16-1, you're like and you've had these injuries. Like we could say Mike Tomlin's had injuries and still won it. Like you have never seen a contender go through the injuries. Like look at the 49ers, the injuries they're going through, and they're not going to make the playoffs. Like Dan's going through similar injuries. Obviously, there's a couple bigger stars, but like still with like
49ers have huge.
But even though like with Hutch, like their stars are still coming back. It's not like those are season end. Like those stars have been playing. You lost Hutch for the whole year. Like you've lost multiple edges rushers for the year, linebackers. Like with Dan, it's still a little bit like, hey, he has lost half of his starters on defense for the season, and it's still a top 10 defense. And it's like the same argument with Tomlin, except Dan's about to go out there and have a 15-2 record. Like that's where it gets a little like, that's a little different. Like that's a different level.
And
because like, or go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say if he wins the NFC North, tough division. So that
it's the toughest division. You have multiple teams with 10, 11, 12.
I don't hate it. I look at like when Sirianni won it. Like I get it. What was he like 14-2 or something like that? 14-3.
Yeah.
Like I get it.
I do think there's an exception. I'm with you, Jeff. Like typically, like I would give it to coaches like a Mike Tomlin or that. I think there's an exception year by year to where it's like,
the
like
Hutch injury, like stuff
if you go 15 wins and you go through what the Lions have gone through, it's almost like a no-brainer. Like you have.
I think Dan should have already won one personally.
For last year.
Yeah, he already should have a Coach of the Year award. So
Stefanski getting it is such a robbery. Like it's such a disrespect to football.
Doesn't Kevin O'Connell already have one too?
I don't know. Kevin Stefanski has 2. I mean, they just hand him out.
Maybe he won it over Kevin O'Connell. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
And there's a sense too, like with the Steelers and Mike Tomlin. Like guys, they're going to win the division. I think all of us on the show, at least me and Klotz, were really, really high on them. Like they still had a good roster. They had a good defense. Like I thought Russell Wilson last year. I know they lost, but like he was playing at a decent. They just couldn't figure it out. Like I thought he was going to come in and be fine. I figured the Steelers were going to win 10, 11 games. So like we had that. Me and Klotz were like on that anyways. So it's like if he would have gone out there and got 13 wins, 14 wins, then I would be like, yes, Mike Tomlin, even if Dan had 15.
Yeah, that's fair.
I ain't even mad at any of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got
coaches. Jim Harbaugh.
Want to give out those Kool-Aid jugs, Boone?
Do you guys want to do them?
Yeah.
I don't have my Kool-Aid jug here. I don't have all that.
You don't have the weapon. You don't have the Kool-Aid jug.
I don't. I don't. Well, it's weird. I texted Jeff about this. It's like the game was Thursday, so usually it's the game. It's Victory Friday. We do it. We were off Friday for Thanksgiving, so it's like we're a couple days later. I'll give some out though. We'll give some guys some props here. Well, it'll be a different Kool-Aid jug day because we're about 4 or 5 days removed from Victory Friday. But hey, we'll still do it. By the way, flu game over here, boys. I'm just like, oh, dude, there's something going around in this world right now. Not world.
Oh, don't say that.
I won't say that. But around the state of Michigan, I'll say that. Like the Metro Detroit area. Oof. Got hit with
battle it. Flu game. All right. First one. I'm gonna go.
I gave you the order too. I gave you the order.
Of course you did. Damn it, I didn't even look.
I typed it right there with it. I said,
hey, that's on me. It's on me. Boom.
Preparation.
No,
Communication.
You did great. Let's see. All right.
And then we'll do a mailbag. So let's roll. Let's do it. Hey, throw the first one up. Can I get some music too? Like,
that's what I was delaying for. I got to get the track going here. I got to get the track going here. All right, talk to me, boom.
Hey, the Kool-Aid Jugs, Week 13 versus the Chicago Bears. Absolute dominant win. By the way, Jeff, I'll give you a little bit of credit here. We had an argument on Friday morning about Matt Eberflus and Caleb Williams. Listen, I don't admit I'm wrong all the time. I'm not saying I'm wrong because that was a heated argument. And that went for the whole day in the group chat. But I will say Matt Eberflus, that man is an idiot. And I heard a lot of people in the NFL world, Jeff, I'll give you credit, say can't put it on the rookie quarterback because that coach should have called it time. I'll give you a little credit here, Jeff. But we're talking about that. Chicago, the Bears. First one. This is a double. Hey, 2 times. Sonic and Knuckles, baby. How about that? 228 all-purpose yards, fellas. 6.5 yards per touch with the all-purpose yards and almost basically 6 yards per carry. 6 yards per carry. Like, that is dominant. If you have a running back duo doing that, find me an NFL running back duo in the history of the NFL that is putting these types of numbers up, not just 1 week, but consistently.
That's insane.
Consistently.
Insane.
6 yards a carry, 6.5 per touch, counting if we're talking about receiving yards, almost 230 all-purpose yards. That is absolutely just bonkers. Bonkers, dude. Sonic and Knuckles, man, they are the best running back duo we have ever seen in our lifetime that you may ever see in the NFL. It is unbelievable. We have them for the next 3 years, fellas. Enjoy them while they last and while they are here. All right. Sonic and Knuckles gets the first Kool-Aid jug of week 13. Number 2, I hope you get this right, Jeff. Don't mess this one up. Hey, throw the man up there. Throw him. Zadarius Smith. Rasheed Wallace of the Detroit Lions, fellas. 1.5 total sacks on Thursday. 1 tackle for a loss. 3 quarterback hits. Hey, welcome to Detroit, fellas. Welcome to Detroit, Zadarius. His second game, he already has, 2.5 sacks in Detroit as a Detroit Lion? 2 games, 2.5 sacks.
He needs to get. We need to get him and Hutch together. I mean,
oh my gosh, we have him next year. They'll opt into his contract. They'll take that, whatever it is. They'll take it for another year with Hutch, definitely. So next year is going to be scary. But hey, this man, he showed up, he showed out. He had the sack that basically ended the game too. When you needed a guy to make a play at the end of the game, guess who it was? It was this man, Zadarius Smith. He stepped up. He made the play to basically force Caleb Williams to just go into complete disaster. And Zadarius Smith, I mean, you could put it on him. He got mad at Eberflus fired. He had a big reason why Matt Eberflus is fired. He was a big reason why. So Zadarius Smith, fellas, week 13, second Kool-Aid jug of the week. I think this is his first one. Congratulations. You're on the list here. You're on the list. Maybe he'll be a multi winner.
What a picture. It's just a perfect photo too. Perfect photo.
All right, final one. I'm only doing 3 this week because this man deserves the last one. The fella deserves the last one. A little premature there, Jeff, but I appreciate it. Hey, DJ Reader, baby, the big fella. Best game of his career. You saw the stats that Zadarius Smith put up. DJ Reader said, hey, let me one-up you real quick. 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, and 3 quarterback hits. DJ Reader, fellas, the third Kool-Aid jug of the week. Absolute, hey, if he plays like that every week, this line, I don't care what injuries are on this Detroit Lions defense. If you have Zadarius Smith and DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil doing what they did, it's over. You have that pass rush is scary. And Mohammed, oh my gosh. That's a scary pass rush, fellas. Shout out DJ Reader. Best game of his career. He deserves. I think this is his second one of the year. Second Kool-Aid jug of the week for week 13.
The big fella.
Shout out DJ Reader, man.
Hey,
those are the Kool-Aid jugs of the week.
The big fella. Well deserved. Yeah, he had a game. I mean, they're going to need him a lot more down the stretch, DJ Reader. Like that pass rush upside.
Yeah.
We talked about the most uncomfortable thing for any quarterback is pressure from the middle, and DJ Reader was wrecking. He was wrecking the game on Thursday.
Dude, and if you get some edge rushers too, like Zadarius, that pocket collapses. Jordan Love better watch out, man.
And Josh was playing so well too, and he went down. It's just he was playing, dude. He made a couple plays right off the rip, and then
field and
I am interested in those injuries.
He tried running. Yeah.
The Josh one and the Levi one. I'm interested to see what those are. It was kind of inevitable that one of those 2 guys went down, and it was like they both go down the same game.
Yeah, Josh Pascal. Damn it, dude. Levi too. Nah, I didn't think at December 2nd I'd be sitting here going, damn, Levi's hurt, but I am. It stings. Kyle Pecco's hurt. It's just all these guys are hurt. Everyone's hurt.
Kyle Pecco.
Yeah. Even like the depth guys, you don't even
know who's still there though. Big 9'5", Pat O'Connor.
As
long as we got Pat O'Connor, we're just fine. We're just fine. You see those double sleeves? We don't got Judon. We got Pat O'Connor.
The Mekhi Wingo one that kills because he was like he was starting to get.
What did he get?
I don't know. He's out for the season. I think maybe a knee injury. Do you know that Mekhi's out for Dan came out and said that he'll be good to go in 2025. And like that's the worst thing to hear, dude. When a coach is like, yeah, we're just he's done for the year. He'll be ready to go for 2025. It's like, and he was getting snaps. He was just starting to step up, man. Mekhi was.
Jeff shook.
I was like, Jeff, you good over there, brother? He like, whoa.
Damn, he needs surgery on his knee.
And Jeff, by the way, because I said it before the Kool-Aid Jugs, I'm not saying too the Ryan Day, the Matt Eberflus, Caleb Williams thing. I've heard multiple like big time names that played in the NFL talk about it. I see your side a little bit more, to where I
want to say I don't want to exclude him from any blame.
That's where I think
argument
the conversation took a turn
to where Caleb not absolved. Absolutely not.
But from what I heard, as a rookie quarterback, it's harder. And this is just my mindset with Caleb. Like, he's supposed to be a generational guy, right? Step up and call the time. Like, I know, and a lot of the people talking about it, Dan Orlowski, all them, like, as a rookie, you don't want to overbound and overstep, which is fair. Like, if that's your
Jared,
yes, and he would, and a lot of guys in the league would. It is my opinion with Caleb. It's like, dude, you're supposed to be like there's people calling for you to win the MVP. Step up and do it. Like, I know you're a rookie. That should never be a tag for you because you're supposed to be generational. But I get it, like, as a rookie, and I get to like Matt Eberflus, and I heard Rex Ryan say it is a golden rule, like an NFL rule. If you take a sack in that position, 1 timeout, 2, 3, you take a timeout. End of game. You take a sack. It is an automatic, as a head coach, you take a timeout. Whether you have a 15-year vet or a rookie, that is an automatic timeout. So that when I heard that, I was a little bit more like, okay.
Yeah, I listened to Pat McAfee today. Bill Belichick spoke on it, and he even threw in the OC as some blame. He's like, I don't know what the play call changed to, or what the hell happened in the huddle when Caleb
that was the Caleb stuff where Caleb came out and said he changed the play after the call came in, and that was where I was like with Caleb, like, what are you doing?
It was a disaster. It's a disaster. Bill was like, I've never had that. Like, usually quarterback, head coach, like the Lions, always same page. Like that's probably why they fired him immediately. Like, if you can't be on the same page as a unit, like, just get the hell out.
Agreed.
And
get the hell out. It's Caleb Williams. Like, if you're too afraid to overstep and call a timeout, but with 20 seconds left, you're okay with changing the play. So like, what are
calling the timeout?
That's where it's a little. And then a Jeff at the end. Again, I still don't like and I'll stand on this. I just don't like the deep throw at the end. Like, if you realize, like, all right, if you don't want to overstep yourself calling a timeout and you change the play call, at least if you're going to change the play call, like, we need another down. Like, we need it.
Yeah. Well, we have I want to, by the way, shout out Keith. He donated $5 earlier. He says, Mr. Lucas County never lived throughout Cooper era, and it shows. #entitled fan.
This is true.
Keith weighing in.
So this is the Cooper era for me.
Yeah. Dante 151. Appreciate you being a member now. Dante says, I think he's been a member. Jeff, you have to remember Brian Branch is mad. That's fair. He's pissed.
He got ejected in the first quarter, basically.
Auto Lie says, Mailbag, who's the worst coach, Matt Eberflus or Ryan Day? Don't think about it.
I'm gonna say Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, don't think about it, Klotz. I know you're upset.
But if Matt Eberflus was at Ohio State, would he hold?
No, he would be so what? It would be terrible.
Hold on. Hear me out, Boone. You haven't had to sit through these years of suffering. Just hear me out for 30 seconds. Has Ryan Day ever won a game at any level as a coach before taking the head coaching spot at Ohio State? No.
Has Matt Eberflus
at least has won an NFL game. I think that's a little bit more of a resume than bringing. I think Matt Eberflus would have been able to beat Michigan at least once over the last 4 years.
No.
Matt Eberflus?
Dude, his in-game coaching is literally Did
you watch Saturday?
I did, but I'm telling you what, dude, Matt Eberflus' in-game coaching might be the best or the worst of all time as any head coach.
I think Ryan Day's play calling Saturday was
Matt Eberflus. He wouldn't even get to the game.
Matt Eberflus at least made the adjustments on
no, he would not.
To switch it up. They got some life in the second half.
Matt Eberflus showed after the Hail Mary, he showed the Hail Mary every week to the team, being like, look, like what?
And Ryan Day every day looks his team in the eyes and says, we're going to go win a national championship. We're going to beat Michigan. Never happens. Never in 4 years.
At least he's trying to motivate them. Matt Eberflus would be like, we might lose this game, but let's at least give some effort.
Hey, real quick, boys, before we end the show, John Lord asked Mailbag, so you're Brad Holmes, what position you picking with the first pick? And then someone else asked, which follows up with that question, Andrew, Mailbag, piggybacking off John, would you take Jack Sawyer if he falls to the Lions?
out.
What position?
God.
What
If
position?
Jack
you guys-
Sawyer fell to the lines, that would be a crime.
For me, it's
That's
defensive
exactly
end.
what the
Defensive
Lions
end. Take a
Defensive end or offensive line, one of the two, because you have to
Yeah.
start building that up. But I will say with Jack Sawyer, that's another one of those situations like Gus Johnson, where I had a tweet blow up going at Jack Sawyer. So if he becomes a Lion, I could be in like all right, I gotta meet Jack Sawyer and be like, I apologize. So that's on me.
You want Jack Sawyer to be a Lion.
No, I think there's better defense. Like there's better edge rushers.
There's better edge rushers, but he's like exactly what the Lions want as far as
First round pick, I'll pass.
Dude,
He'll
he'll be
be-
a top 15 pick.
Good for him.
What? He said good for him.
Congrats.
Yeah, I would go. I'm with you, Boone. Edge or offensive tackle.
I think, by the way, Diggity Dog says he's not an edge. I believe he's listed as an edge, and I don't know what he would play in the NFL. My guess would be like an edge, though. Like that would be my guess.
More of a power rusher.
Yeah.
Got a little burst, but
That clip though, Klotz, of him like planted a flag.
but people are acting like he had a bad game. He literally picked off. He had a pick in the defense. Like Jack Sawyer had a good game. Like I get if you want to be upset about him ripping the flag down and stuff, but that dude.
And you know what too?
That was his moment where he snapped.
And the fact that he's a loser. He's like a sore loser at the end of the day.
I would probably crash out too. If I was an Ohio State player, I'd crash out.
This is not a Dan Campbell guy or a Brad Holmes guy. Like Dan would look at him and be like,
He's shook. He's rattled. You give him an actual
rattled players on our team.
You give Jack Sawyer Dan Campbell instead of Ryan Day, he's going to be a monster. You understand?
Hey, that's the guy who plays with passion. Plays with heart.
I don't know about that.
Plays with heart. Just his reaction's hilarious. Like they playing the flat on field, man. He's like, fuck that
loser,
shit.
Dude. And that was why my tweet that blew up. It was basically saying, "Hey, Jack Sawyer, I get it from him. He's 0-4 versus Ohio or versus Michigan.
Yeah,
and he like when you throw a temper tantrum, man. Just throw the temper tantrum. You have to at that point. You have to make your you have to put a stamp on that game somehow. And that's like through his 4 years, he's going to be known as the guy that cried after the Ohio State game and threw a temper tantrum. That's his legacy. That's his legacy.
It'll be Ryan Day. What happened?
I'm saying Jack Sawyer's legacy as an Ohio State player will be him crashing out and throwing a temper tantrum after Michigan. That's a tough legacy to lose.
As a Michigan fan, it will be for you guys.
I like the
He's
legacy.
played good in meaningless games.
I like the legacy we're trying to build here. All right, at crunch time. I like this. This is fun.
Beautiful thing.
Great show today. I appreciate you all as always. By the way, look what just came in.
Beautiful. I'm getting one
with the CT on the side. I'll get these for the fellas. All the boys can rock this. This is in the store. You can get.
Can we see the? Yeah, I'll talk to you after. I got something else.
This thing. I love this hat. My favorite hat. Besides my other crunch time one. But get your stuff. officialctsports.com. And yeah, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Until then.
Love you guys. Peace.
Peace.